Yes, hello. I am James Rowlands, and today is the WNR485. It's WWE NXT Great American Bash. It's also NXT Update, but with only just 3 episodes, I don't really count it. But I am not alone, rambling to myself. I have a pleasure to be joined by our resident NXT expert and New Japan deity. It is, of course, Monty. How's it going? It's that time of the month again.
Yes, that time of the month again. We had a really good special. I'm excited to talk about everything that's been going on. And I don't want to spoil anything. She could not make her debut, but my wonderful daughter may make her podcast debut here. So it would be only fitting that it happens on an update for NXT or, like you said, a little catch up for Great American Bash. But I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it'll be like babies talking to each other. It'll be fine, like I said.
Yeah.
NXT baby. And this is why we do live, folks. This is how dedication to you, Monty here for that. But we're going to start with a bit of sad news, as kind of seems to be the case recently, and the recent passing of Adrian Street. Now, if anybody doesn't know the name, he was born the son of a coal miner in Wales. He enjoyed nearly a 60-year career that spanned the globe as a flamboyant style, entertained audience, and reimagined what was possible in sports entertainment. The bold fashion, coming to the ring. I try to explain it to other people, Monty, and it's really, really difficult. For this guy who had a career throughout the UK, Germany, Mexico, Canada, setting up in Birmingham, Alabama with Continental Championship Wrestling. He somehow wrestled between 12,000 and 15,000 matches, but his influence was beyond the ring. When he's credited with designing the gear worn by Mick Foley's Dude Love during his rivalry with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not only that, but we would not have any flamboyant Gold Dust, or I'm trying to think of anybody else ever, to have this.
Adrian Adonis. Yeah. I don't think we have any of them. Like you said, nothing flamboyant at all, probably. I don't even know if you have any face paint, almost, if you see what I'm trying to say, like with makeup. You probably wouldn't even have that. He broke a lot of barriers.
And especially for the time period as well. This is saying there's a couple of really good documentaries about him, one on the network, so go check it out. But again, we can't put into words the kind of flamboyant nature of kind of what he looks like as well. It's just the way he was. There was a story with, I think William Regal said, when they went NXT and he came down to look at the talent promo class, and Regal said, "What do you think of the promo?" And he goes, "You what?" And he gets out, he says, "What, my physique," took off his T-shirt and started measuring his muscles with a tape measure he had in his pocket. And that was him, just 10 years ago. So it really was incredible, and he definitely will be missed.
Agreed. 100% legend. Somebody I wasn't the most familiar with, but when it's like that for me and it's in this business, I tend to go off what you like what you said, what a lot of the people in the industry say about him, and everyone had glowing things to say. So it was really a tough loss. Again, we're all a big family when we're fans or a part of the wrestling business. So it's always sucks when someone passed away. But again, absolute legend, broke barriers, and we wouldn't have a lot in professional wrestling if it wasn't for people like that. We're willing to do anything and do things that outside of the box, not just be your basic or generic wrestler that get lost in time. He'll be remembered forever.
Without a shadow of doubt. Like I said, it's a shame losing him, losing the Iron Sheik recently as well. Like I said, guys who kind of redefined the business as we know it, created characters that people could then take on for years to come. I don't want to go on a tangent even about like kind of British wrestling and the kind of influence that it's had throughout, but yeah, he definitely will be missed. But we're going to try and cheer everybody up, because like we said, we've got a great American Bash coming. But before that, a couple of episodes NXT starting July 18th, for the NXT champ started the show. Carmelo Hayes blamed Ilya Dragunov for costing him and Trick Williams the main event last week. Lazar made it clear he was doing what he needed in order to finally fight for the NXT championship. For one of us, it's going to be champagne. For the other one of us, it's going to be just pain, Melo said. Now, I know that could be cheesy from anybody else, but Monty, you know how invested I am in these two guys. The two.
Right, how invested we both are. You know what I mean? Like you said, even from both different sides, I think I'm a big fan of Dragunov. I became that from watching NXT UK, and I may have always kind of liked Melo, but you kind of understood where I was coming from the more you watched him in NXT. So to see them feuding for the belt, and like you said, even if that was a little, like you said, a little cheesy, I did love it because it just felt big time. It just felt like two guys who we know could realistically be on top of this brand battling it out for the title. It just fit. Everything was perfect in my opinion when it comes to the delivery and just who these two guys are as characters. They both are perfect candidates for leading men. One of them already is. So it was just great to get in this to see them, face to face. And when we watching NXT UK and you're watching NXT at the same time, you don't know if that's even possible. So it's kind of cool that that's where we still ended up here after all this time.
Yeah, and like every time it's a Melo, I just think, how did I not get him sooner? He just seems to get better. But even those two staring face to face, and again, you're right. It's like with Melo, there's not been a threat in NXT for quite a long time, and it's easily Dragunov. We know what he can do. So even them staring face to face, the thing is with Ia, obviously actions speak louder than words. So try and cut the promo down. Like I said, let Melo or let whoever his opponent is kind of do the bulk of it. We see Melo trick Dragunov getting a brawl with Schism backstage. I'm sure that's going to set up a match. Los Lotharios versus Nathan Fraser and Dragon Lee. And we see Los Lotharios get too focused on flirting with Feroz and Leon at ringside and end up losing. After the match, Garza yelled at Humberto until he got pushed to the floor. Humberto walked out and his partner through the crowd. Because, Monty, this is NXT, where tag teams don't last 2 weeks. You could be together for like 4 years, like these guys. You're in NXT for like a month, you're done,
Yeah, that's the funniest thing about it. I'm like, they haven't even been here. Like, at least let them lose a title shot or something. Like, first, it's like, God damn, they already splitting up. But, you're 100% right. It's just something, we can't have more than 3 teams at NXT at a time. You only got to have the champs and 2 contenders. That's about it.
It's scary. It is scary. We see Gigi Dolan losing to Kiana James. We see Ivan Earl taking down the Diamond Mine flag because Mind and the Creed brothers are done.
Heartbroken.
They wouldn't lie to us about stipulations. We know how important stipulations are in wrestling,
Right? No, exactly.
They wouldn't. Come on. We see Axiom and Scripps versus Bronco Nima and Lucien Price. After a couple of minutes, Scripps blasted Axiom with right hand. Again, what was the point in all this if this was just going to happen? Look, I understand Neiman got the win, and it looked like maybe Scripps is with them. But again, you're like, what? Was this the plan? Why not just, I don't know, have Scripps debut with them anyway? I don't...
Yeah, why were they? And then did it also when Axiom and didn't we already do this with these two guys? Did Axiom already beat him out of his mask? So it was such a quick turnaround. Like they didn't even really get a chance to do anything. So it's like then after, so you're looking back at it, and it's like, oh, so that little team up was pointless. Cool.
I said I've actually written here I would moan about team splitting up, and I have moaned about it, but I kind of want Axiom as far away from Scripps as possible. And I guess
true.
Axiom telling him they're not a tag team before the match probably didn't help. I'm not I don't want to play devil. I want to play devil a little bit. We see Tony D'Angelo. Every time I see Tony D'Angelo, I end up saying Tony D. I don't know why. So anyway, Tony D and Shannon Stacks and Evento celebrated in the ring with their family until Joe Coffey walked out with Mark and Wolfgang. A brawl started that ended with the family on top. The NXT Tag Team Championships. Of course, we see Tony's dad, cousins, and sisters were there for him to help. Was there anything more kind of... I was trying to think any other character that they could have had. They had we got the mob boss. Did we have the grandma there? I can't remember if we had that.
Yeah, we got the underboss. We need some. I think those older guys might be capos or whatever. We just keep going down the entire Goodfellas list.
Yeah, 8 sisters.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. All the stereotypes.
Yeah, every step of the way.
We see Metaphor apologising to Thorpe about missing Soap Maneuver sessions. by giving him a signed picture of Dar with a Heritage Cup. Thorpe ripped it up. That's going to be worth thousands in years to come. But Dar was just so depressed, just sat in his wheelchair. And again, for me, there's not many wrestlers that can get away or do that well. And Dar was just, so depressed. But it led to Aura Mensah getting a big win over Eddie Thorpe. So NXT UK beating New Japan. Get in there.
Right?
Yeah.
I could not believe it. I was like, oh, so Eddie Thorpe can win a match. I mean, not Eddie Thorpe, but Oro can win a match against Eddie of all people. It's like, okay, well, I guess you have to pay your dues, I guess, Eddie.
It's going to be a great update for Aura. I'm not lying. No, it really.
Yeah, no.
We see Thea Hale turning into Ronda Rousey, in UFC when she was good, not now. Our gal Thea tapped out Elektra Lopez. After the match, she called out Tiffany Stratton. Of course, Central Universe walked out and accepted the rematch. The challenger wanted to make a submission, and she trapped the champion into Kimura until she accepted. Oh, hell yeah. This shouldn't work as well as it should it, Monty? Because I think this whole segment was great.
Yeah, even as ridiculous as it is, that she was like, "Well, you can't make me," and it's like, you've been through this already, Tiffany. Like, what you mean she can't make you? And then she immediately like, okay. You see what I'm saying? It's just like that is ridiculous, but they made it work. It's amazing how good. And I'll talk about this when we get to the match at Great American Bash. But for them to be so new and young, they are making a lot of stuff that you can reasonably see 10-year veterans screwing it up. Mm-hmm. And they're just going out there and making this work, man. And like you said, it's goofy at times, but it works. It's working perfectly, man.
Yeah. We see Ali backstage questioning Wes Lee, giving Dominic Mysterio a title match in the main event. Rhea Ripley called out Lyra Valkyrie backstage, telling her to make a statement at the expense of JC Jane. Blair Davenport told Roxanne Perez she was not ready to compete. The new NXT apology responded by promising to bring a rage she never shown before. Davenport continued to mock Perez until the prodigy just walked out in the interview. I mean, that's the way to go, I suppose. And then the NXT North American Championship, Wes Lee versus Dominic Mysterio. It was Rhea Ripley, the deciding player in the match, bashing Wes Lee with the Women's World Championship while Balor and Priest played distraction. Dominic Mysterio covered him, and your new NXT North American Champion, Dominic Mysterio. I mean, if you gave me 100 picks of who would be the next North American champion after Wesley's historic reign, it wouldn't be Dom. But, I mean, what a reaction from the crowd as well,
Genuine shock. Same thing social media that night, too. I remember it was just a lot of people was really shocked. And then I think, I don't know, I don't want to be wrong, but if I remember it right, that week, they pulled a pretty good rating or a high rating over it, too. So it was like, Dom is putting up numbers too, but it's kind of cool. It's, again, like you said, you would not predict it. I still, when I look back at it, I look back at it again because I watched it the night it happened, but I wanted to refresh myself on how it happened. And I remember the night of being kind of annoyed. I was like, as good as it is, it's just like I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it going down that way. But when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Even though he got screwed, Wes Lee looked pretty strong. It took the entire group, pretty much the entire group had to pull one over. So I'm like, I guess it makes sense, even if it is kind of, out of nowhere. And like you said, you wouldn't expect, especially with the type of run Wes Lee. Like Wes Lee had overcome all types of stuff, short notice. You know what I'm saying? But it also, too, made me think about, like, oh, my goodness, they're trying to make Ali a prophet because he literally told him earlier that night, don't do it because, you got it's just a trap. It sounded like a trap, and he just did not believe it. He was, and again, I guess you can say he had survived so much. The confidence got to him. He was a little overconfident maybe, but he had every right to be. But, it is what it is. I didn't have too much of a problem with it, especially – like from an NXT standpoint, sure, it's shocking, and it probably don't make a lot. It probably, it sucks because of how good Wes Lee was doing. But from an entire WWE standpoint, because of everything Judgment Day has gotten their hands into, if you look at what Raw has turned into, pretty much, Yeah, it fit very perfectly because they had been that dominant.
Yeah, and Dom turned into Orange Cassidy with about a fucking North American title defense.
This is a good point.
SmackDown Raw. It's like, even like, again, I don't want to ruin it. Well, we get to the July 25th edition of NXT. Wesley interrupted Dirty Dom Mysterio and Rhea Ripley, challenging Dom to a match. Mustafa Ali arrived, and again, it was Ripley kind of going, yeah, he's going to defend against both of you. And I go, really? Like, when did he become this fighting
Like, yeah, he was a fighting champion all of a sudden. Like, and then again, it was. Now I give you that. You brought that up, and SmackDown did kind of annoy me because I was like, didn't you make Solo give this belt up? If I was Solo, I'd go kill Dominic right now. Like, I don't make me forget that Adam Pearce made him do that, but it's fine. You know, it's whatever. Not consistent, but we'll let it go. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. I was like, whoa, Dominic win one title, and now he's ready to fight everybody after running away from people for months.
I mean, when's the last time you saw Zayn pinned as well? You know what I mean? Like, Dom did it all in this short space of time, right? Yes.
Right.
Then again, like you said, he's a
I knew the push was coming, but they sped it up.
He is
that's a good point.
Roman. That's the thing.
The ace, Dominic Mysterio.
We see Lyra Valkyrie explain in an interview she wants to see where she stands in the women's division by fighting Rhea Ripley. When Vic said she'd been there 7 months, I was like, it felt like 7 days. What, 7 months already?
That's a good point. Oh my goodness.
It's like when they say, and Tyler Bates been there for 5 years or something. And you go, well, no, there's no way. We see Kamala Hayes, Trick Williams, and Ilya Dragunov versus Schism. Believe it or not, Dragunov and Hayes did not get on the same page, but 2 masked men attacked a dyad at ringside. Lift left Jug Gacy alone. Mello got the blind tag and hit nothing but net. Trick Williams took incidental contact during the match from Lazar and blamed the challenger for potentially trying to take him out. I tell you what I loved, Monty. You know I'm weird. All 3 faces getting in the ring at the same time was great. I don't know why. I don't know if they timed it or whether it is. I just love shit like that. I really do.
That's a good point. Like, especially when 2 of them are feuding. So it's just like they seem really in sync for people who don't like each other.
I just think deep down, you know, there's something there, but it didn't end well, like we talk about. Von Wagner squashed Big Body Harvey, which, you know, I like Big Body, but again, he's going the same as like 2.0, or where we go, oh, you know that guy, maybe a little bit more. He'll be on fucking Rampage in a couple of years' time, you know what I mean? The crowd were desperate to see the big man powerbomb him through the table, you know? And again, in the category marked, used to work here, Bron Breakker attacked Von with a spear in a chair, which again, you're going, how many last matches is Bron Breakker going to have in NXT? Like, how many, is he going to slowly go down the card until his last match is against Scripps? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, Braun is overdue. He's a heel now, but he's like, we talk about Melo not having contenders, but it's like to the point where like Braun is scraping the bottom of the barrel for people to fight at this point.
He's not won a match in 8 months, you know, like.
He's like, I need somebody. Like, you're right. It just seems like they keep stopping and starting. Like, in 1 minute, I'm just waiting on him to pop up on SmackDown or Raw or something. But in the next minute, here he goes. Badass Bron Breakker.
Don't get me wrong. It's great, Bron. But, like, yeah, Von now. All right. We see Tiffany Stratton in a hype vignette saying she may have touched the mat once, but didn't tap to Thea again.
I love her so much, man.
Yeah, as a heel.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want. We see Gable Steveson. Oh, sorry, the correct response should be USA, USA, USA. Talking about going for a national championship in college or a Olympic gold medal. Look, mate, like, we get it. You've got options. Some of us haven't, all right? Like, some of us...
Right. Most wrestling fans don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I could win another gold medal, but do I really need 2? You know, and it's wonder why people don't like him, you know.
Right. And I love how everybody just assumes since he's won a gold medal, he's a super patriot. Like that doesn't necessarily correlate. Like, yeah, he's just good at wrestling, guys. But whatever.
Yeah,
USA.
he won the gold medal and he got the silver in the Captain America kind of. I mean, the Captain America dress-up competition because he loves America. But speaking of people the fans don't like, Baron Corbin then interrupted, and we see the Lone Wolf getting challenged to a match at the Great American Bash and being suplexed. So, new Corbin, same old shit. Yeah. In, again, a category marked, is Vince Russo booking this shit? Kendo stick match with Cora Jade versus Dana Brooke. This was just weird. We see Dana Brooke making Cora Jade pay by using her variety of kendo sticks. Jade with kendo sticks and a steel chair beneath her for the win. I mean, poor Cora Jade. You know, that's all I'm going to say about this. And then I'm going to move on. In a private...
Yeah. You want me to answer?
No. We're gonna
okay, okay, good. I was about to say, just move on. I'll leave it at this.
Damon Kemp convinced Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey to work with him, and then nothing happened. The old Damon Kemp effect. Hey, he's in an interview, and then we don't see it. He'll show up in 5 months, you know, and
he's gonna attack some baby face out of nowhere. Like, you still here, David? Cool.
Well, I guess the next clip sent Booker off because I guess he has PTSD about stuff like this. We see footage of Perez and Davenport fighting in a gas station. But luckily, the prodigy stood tall. But I think Booker was worried about the milk was going to get involved at one point. But I quite like the way this was shot because, again, it was different to what we used to, you know?
It's creative. You know, they did the whole, jumping from phone screen recording to, market or what. I guess it looked like, I don't know if that was inside of a gas station or a supermarket, whatever. But, it looked like, they kind of recorded, they did it with the store cameras and all that. So it's really creative. I liked it too. As a matter of fact, everything about the build so far to the Weapons Wild match, and we, I think some more stuff actually happened after this. So, I really love the creativity they put into this feud, especially when you think about the fact that it has nothing to do with the title. Really strong, storytelling here, when it comes to, when you think about the whole entire thing, and then you add this brawl on top of it. Nice little twist. Also a wink, nudge to the trainer of Roxanne. So, yeah, man, it worked out. I really liked so far what they've done.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not that difficult to actually, have two women's matches on,
right,
or
two actual stories, completely separate from each other. Like, it's not that hard, but it is.
Well,
I guess.
just don't ask NXT about what happened to the tag titles. They go, what? What?
Well,
Hey?
While they're debuting more women's teams, by the way, and it's just like, wait, okay, that's very smart. Lose your belts, and now we got teams coming out the woodwork.
And then they'll introduce the titles again and then split all the teams up. They fuck with us in this way. That's what they do.
Yes.
Speaking of which, the Bronco Nima and Lucien Price push is over as they lost to Tony D and Challenge Stacks Lorenzo. Scripps was on commentary.
Nice streak.
Yes, great streak. Scripps on commentary and Booker going, that ain't Scripps. That's Reginald.
That ain't Scripps, that's Reginald. And then he wouldn't let Vic call him. Then he confused it because at first he was like, Vic, you can't say Scripps because you're not from the hood. And then by the end, he's calling him Reginald. He's like, well, I can say that because I'm from the hood. But I thought we was talking about Scripps. Oh, man, I love it. Oh, man, I can listen to Booker and him on commentary forever. Like, Vic is just the ultimate. He's just perfect straight man for, like, he was great with Baird, and Baird has a sense of humor, but a different style, very different when it comes to Booker. Booker just says the first thing comes to his mind, and Vic is always having to play off of him, and he does a great job. I don't know how he keeps I don't know how he just don't bust out laughing at Booker most of the time.
It was, I think they hit the Tony D, hit like the bada bing, and he's like, say it with me, Booker. And he's big bada. That's why Booker is a legend.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's so great. Oh, I love Booker, man.
We see Action chasing Scripps off. And then the Supernova Sessions metaphor presented Noam Dar with a new Heritage Cup, which awakened the Scottish Supernova from his catatonic state. This was, again, I love Dar, we love Dar, so we knew what was going to happen. So as soon as it up, I went right back into it with Nathan Fraser and Dragon Lee questioning the legitimacy of the cup, a metaphor, and a brawl including Leon and Feroz. And like I said, this is working when we knew it would, you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's our bias either, man. Noam Dar is just good, and he's brought, again, Lash is very green. Jakir is also green. But we, Oliver or Order, who I don't know. Again, I didn't think he had this much entertainment in him, but Oro, in my opinion, has been great too. With because they didn't show that when he was. Get a chance to show that he can be just as idiotic as Noam Dar can be sometimes. But he has literally made. It's not just how good Noam Dar is, but he's did a great job of taking these people who you wouldn't think this fit. We talked about this at the very beginning. We were like, how is this going to work out? But we had faith because we knew how talented he is, and they just let him be himself. A couple Supernova sessions, a couple of moments here, and he's already just made it so fun. So again, it's just a kudos to Noam Dar. You know how much I have respect for him, but it's very like you said. Now he immediately new trophy, and he's just back.
it was like kryptonite to Superman. That's what it was. That's what he needs.
Exactly.
It's his spinach for Popeye. Whatever reference you want to use, just as soon as he got it, yeah, it was just back. Not kryptonite Superman. That would kill him. I meant sunlight. Can I get emails? All right. I know the yellow sun gives Superman his powers. Thank you very much. So anyway, we see Dijak warning Eddie Thorpe not to get too cocky for just one big win. Chase Yu
still angry for no reason, by the way. He just that's another guy. He just shows up out of nowhere. Hey, I'm pissed at you. Let's fight next week.
Yeah, just a grumpy look on his face. Sunglasses down. Like, that's his look. Chase Yu hyped up for Hale for a Great American Bash. Garza Carrillo argued with Humberto, making clear he was done listening. And then we get Ray Ripley versus Lyra Valkyrie. And I tell you what, Valkyrie nearly won off a frog splash, but the kick out the Eradicator got serious and took the win with a riptide. After the win, Ripley refocused Valkyrie on making JC Jane pay, defeating her soundly when they next fought. How fucking cool did Ray Ripley come across in this segment and these segments?
Oh, man.
And Valkyrie just been picked up and put to another level now, just through this. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
That's what I love the most about it. Even if the heel-face alliance is different, it's just like it's so awesome when you think about just how Rhea was like, oh no, I think she's dope, and I don't care if I'm a bad guy right now. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna make her. And the way she does it, it's not like she's not being nice to the babyface. She's kind of like, no, I expect this. This is what I want, and this is what you're gonna be. And if I gotta beat you to make you this is what's gonna happen. It worked, like you said, so cool. And Valkyrie now, like you said, gets the rub, gets the like, oh my goodness, like she got mommy's respect, and she gave a hell of a effort, a hell of a match with her. So it was a very good vehicle, and I think this is what I like. As much as I don't like not that I don't like anything, because Rhea's been great. It's mostly just the booking decision. Because some like we mentioned before, in WWE we got plenty of dominant champion. So it's just like, all right, she's gonna take out the entire division. Now she don't have anyone who even remotely looks like they could take her right now. And it's just like, I do love this though. As much as I don't like everything that's going on Rhea all of a sudden, even though again nothing on her, I love what she's doing. It's just the booking. This is great. This is like fantastic. This is how and this is also one of the things that WWE was missing for a long time, and that was building stars. This is how you do it. Put them in there with a more established person, a champion, a world champion who's on top of her game, and then you let her, put over the babyface, whether they are both baby faces or not. You know what I'm saying? Show respect. It doesn't always have to be let me kill this newcomer, and eventually she'll fight her way up, and whatever. No. Like, let's put it like, yes, she can lose the match, but let's actually make it look like she has a chance. And after the match, do like Undertaker did for Jeff Hardy. One of my favorite moments is a low-key moment was after their ladder match for the undisputed title. He just kind of picked Jeff up and said, "You know what? You got some kid or whatever." Kind of gave him that type of respect, and it was just like that. That made at the end of the day when Jeff came back eventually, he was world champion material, and not only because of his popularity, but because of moments like that when he had the Undertaker's respect. So again, stuff like that is awesome because in the future or in the back of me and your mind, because we watch NXT, when Valkyria shows up on the main roster or something like that, or she gets a shot, we'll know in the back of our head that Rhea Ripley gave her that rub years ago, and look at what she's done with it. So, or if she at the top of NXT, we'll look at it like that. So again, she looks amazing after that, and Rhea did an awesome job.
Yeah, but like I said, you're right about everything there, and it does help out the whole situation, and especially when Lyra has lasted longer than like Zelina against Ripley. So you realise then, hang on a minute, would be interesting. And again, even if in the main roster called up to join Judgment Day, if Judgment Day's still a thing or something like that, it would still make sense,
And then it would make sense, yeah.
What didn't make sense is Trick Williams calling out Ilya Dragunov because the Tsar answered. And the number one contender came out, and after a series of chops, he hit he fucked Trick up. I mean, there is something about the, and we're going to get onto it as well, but there's just the something about him so physical, and you thought Trick was done for at this point. Mello came out and took the Torpedo Moscow for Trick, and Dragunov put over Mello's honours and loyalty to his friend, but warned Trick that was all he would have after the Great American Bash. And again, it's simple and effective. But my problem is I thought this took Trick out the running at this point in time. But again, it's really, really good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think it showed guts because, especially from our point of view, because we know what Dragunov is all about. And the only reason why I say that is because Trick didn't call him out to trash talk him and then let's fight. Trick called him out and just like, no, fight me. And I think, honestly, if you kind of look at Mello's face when Trick kind of made the point that he was going to kind of do this, Mello even kind of knew, like, I don't know if you should do this, Trick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's his friend. He's even like, nah, you probably shouldn't do this. You know what I'm saying? So, like, everybody knew that the outcome would probably turn out that way. But you're 100% right, man. I love seeing this side of him. And then I'll talk about it more in a minute, but Dragunov, this side of Dragunov, where he's not just fighting from underneath aggressively, he is the aggressor, man. And I love that. I love a guy like Dragunov just going out there and being like, you know what, I'm gonna beat you within an inch of your life. If you get lucky and survive, yeah, you'll have my respect. If not, I do what I always do, and I'm just gonna win. I'm gonna beat you to like don't. Again, I just love it. He got that don't F with me. Everything about him. And it's fun thing. I thought the goatee looked funny, but it helps. The goatee has helped in my opinion. He looked even more like somebody that you don't want to fuck with now.
I don't like it. I'm still, and it's saying, and it's weird because I'm like, is he turning heel? Because why grow facial hair? You know, like I was thinking that it's Randy Orton or something.
I don't know.
You know?
Yeah.
If he comes
Think
out,
about it, maybe.
Well, I don't know, but again, really, really good build up to the Great American Bash, which we're going to talk about now, July 30th, from Cedar Park, I think it is, rather than Cheddar, as I thought it might be. But it wasn't. Kickoff in studio, Megan Moran, Matt Camp, Sam Roberts. What a waste of time, really. An hour this was as well, rather than a half hour, because we had the kickoff match. Mello and Nia arrive. We see Ripley interviewed. She says she had to go and stretch Dom, whatever that meant. Corbin says all eyes will be on him. He was right about that. But Baron does have a problem with Olympic gold medalists, let's not forget. So the kickoff match was Metaphor versus Dragon Lee, Nathan Fraser, Valentina Perez, and Yulisa Leon. Like a weird multiverse to see two Heritage Cup trophies at ringside, Monty. I don't know about you, but for me, it's like, this wasn't important, and now we've got two. It's like Spider-Man.
Now we got two.
Flash. You know what I mean? It's like...
And I wondered, like, did they make an entirely new one just for knowing I'm going to carry it around? Like, or did we always have two and I never knew about it? Like, what the hell?
That's what I'm saying. One was hollow. I'm sure one was hollower than the other one. But then again, I don't want to kind of get too much into it. But it's as for the matchup, Metaphor used cheap tactics to stay in the action, but Feroz and Leon refused to lose their premium live event debut. They took out Lash legend Jakira Jackson, leaving Dragon Lee to win with a running tilt or reverse DDT on Aura Mensa for the win. I mean, what were your thoughts on this? For me, nice colour coordination all round to begin with. And again, speaking of the Flash, Fraser with his Flash look, I think he's getting a really, really good response. What were your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, man, Fraser was definitely over. Every move he did, even the move that I kind of chuckled at because I was like, ha, me and you, I seen him do that in NXT UK. Anyway, even some of the moves, I listened to the crowd in Texas. I was like, oh, man, they're loving it. But, yeah, I was into this, man. It was a hell of a way to get things started. It had moments, everyone, including Lash Legend and Jakir, had moments to shine. Like, I liked the spots they picked out for Lash Legend. You know what I'm saying? They protected her weaknesses and all of that, and they made, like, when everybody does the dives and she just comes and clear everyone out. I'm just like, she looked pretty good in that spot, you know? So I just love how they kind of did that. And then, of course, you had Noam Dar.
Did you think with Lash, though, I thought with Lash, like, that's how Jade Cargill should be doing shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Like, I agree.
Like,
No, yes, agree. Just, like, come in, wreck shop. You know, get the biggest moves off. You know what I'm saying? Take advantage. Use that strength and that size, and just like protect her. Like make her. You know, don't make her go out here and have to, you know, do way too much, and then you expose. You know how her herself. Because again, I think the worst thing Lash has so far, at least from my estimation, is like having to sell all the time for people who are way smaller than her. But when she's able to show her dominance and be strong and all of that, she's really cool. You know, I think they did a really good job. And then also, I thought it was a lot of highlights, a lot of spots to make that, you know, make these type of 4-way, 8 women or 8-person matches so great. And then they had also a lot of spots that played off the high flying, team that was the baby faces in this spot. So I thought this was really well, and the heels did whatever they could to keep, you know, an advantage. And sometimes I actually thought we were going to be right and Metaphor would pull it off, but I wasn't mad. You know, the finish was well executed. I gave it 4 stars, man. I really liked how everybody got a chance to look good in this one. You know, again, Oro with the spot towards the end, and even though he got pinned, he looked cool. You know, Dragon Lee looked great. So again, everyone did a great job here, and it was a solid way to kick things off.
Yeah, right. Even the dives, like you said, by Feroz and Leon to the outside, kind of really built up. Nathan Fraser went into this like kind of zone in the last couple of minutes as well, just like diving across everywhere. But what made me laugh as well is that metaphors actually making me like Lash Legend. The booking of Lash in this match, like I said, how she acts like a bad
yeah.
And also being the biggest person in this match, like legitimately the biggest person in this match.
I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was, I think it was Nathan, but it was somebody she actually tried to attack. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like she towers over him, man.
she would make Joe Coffey look like Rey Mysterio. Like that's how I'm saying at the moment. But
yes, because Joe shrieks every time I see him.
Honestly, I don't know. It's gonna be like I don't know, scene from Big when he's in like the adult coat. And it's just like trailing on the floor. He's just like a small child now. But like I said, the match, great stuff for kickoff. You're not expecting it. And the crowd really, really getting into it as well. I'm going to give it 4 stars as well. Really, really good stuff. Predictions. It is the predictions that we do. Near enough every show. Prediction Leagues 2023. We have got 3 of them. This is after Money in the Bank. So the WWE Prediction League. At this moment in time, Jaxie on 1, Gina and Monty tied on 3, I am on 4. AEW, and for me this is a surprise, Monty in the lead with 3, even though he's watching AEW. Gina and Jaxie 2.
Yeah.
Well, not watching you know what I mean, watching it, but you know, not like, you know what I'm saying.
No.
No disrespect. Like, I'm not saying you.
Right, yeah, no, yeah.
I'm not saying you're doing what Gina and Jaxie are doing for the predictions today and coming in completely blind. I'm not saying that. Bonus
definitely
league.
blinder than most.
Yeah. Bonus League, which we are playing today. Jaxie Gina tied on 11. James and Monty tied on 14. We all went heels. And again, I think for me it's peer pressure. Because I know I shouldn't be saying this, but it's usually faces win on kickoff. But again, maybe, emotions and all this stuff. But no points for anybody. The show would open with Cody Rhodes narrated video about the Great American Bash, highlighting the show as Dusty Rhodes' legacy. I love this. This is one of the reasons to get Cody Rhodes back, to be able to talk about Dusty Rhodes' legacy and especially the Great American Bash,
Yeah, I felt like a horrible wrestling fan for a second at first. I was like, what the hell Cody got to do with NXT? But then I remembered. I was like, oh, okay. Great American Bash. Never mind. Makes sense. But yeah, no, it was well done, very well done. Anytime they're showing love to Dusty, and like you said, you can get Cody to do it, it's going to probably work out to be pretty great. And I know how important he is. Just everything about Dusty is very important to what NXT is now. So yeah, man, I think it's very awesome. It was a pretty cool way to kick things off.
Well, we're going to start with the NXT Tag Team Championships. Gallus versus the Family. Both teams got unique entrance videos. I mean, the Family just had rats, which again,
that was pretty horrible, by the way.
Yeah, it didn't work. It's not. If anything, have rats for Gallus. If they're the rats, don't.
Right, they are the rats in the scenario. Like, why are the rats here? I was like, then I had wondered, like, Tony Dean from New York? Are they built from New York? Like, I know there's a lot of rats in New York.
I was expecting,
what is
10 rat-sized humans, you know what I mean, coming out dressed as rats.
Something.
With Tony D. The Gallus boys came out, well, first off, it was Joe talking like a coach. And then coming out
like a coach, yeah.
Yeah, that again, the presentation is really, really cool for me. We see him wearing those bright yellow and black stripes. The Don came out in his nails attire. If people listen to the podcast would love that. They'd be like, oh my God, he just referenced the last show. And another thing about this, every time I see Wolfgang, every time I see Joe Coffey, I go, fucking he's getting small. And every time I see Wolfgang, I go, he's not as fat as I thought. Not fat's probably not the right word, but do you know what I mean? Like, he's much more athletic.
Yeah.
Than when we.
He's lean, man.
Sure, in NXT UK, he looked, like Volta. You know what I'm
huge
saying? Like maybe,
by comparison. Yeah, exactly. No, I know what you mean. I don't know what the hell is. Is a different camera angle? Like, what the hell is going on? Because they don't. You're right. Neither three of them look as imposing as they did the few months I was reviewing NXT UK with you.
I don't know if the NXT UK talent is just under 5 foot or something like this, but honestly, it's really weird. We see in the matchup, Wolfgang accidentally caught Mark. We're running senton. The Family grabbed their roles for a combination superplex, dive, and headbutt for a near fall. Joe distracted the referee by pulling out a weapon, setting up Gallus to hit the Gallus gate. The Don just barely broke up the pinfall. Again, that didn't make sense because Joe was affecting his team winning at that point in time.
Yeah.
But then again, Joe didn't make a lot of sense because he tried a cheap shot but ran into a crowbar, as you do, from Tony D. Shannon Stacks. Lorenzo dived onto Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, then pulled Wolfgang in to set up the banner boom, banner bing, for the win and your new NXT Tag Team Champions. It is Stacks and Tony D. First goal for Tony D. Man, has that man been on a journey with us since 2.0. Man.
That's a good point, man. It's been a long road to get here.
And Gallus, again, like, you forget how good they are, but this is a bit disjointed, but what were your thoughts?
Yeah, man, it was pretty cool. I didn't have a problem. It was a solid match. The thing is about Gallus in this situation, like you said, solid as ever, really good at what they do in the ring whenever you just let them wrestle. I do want to say that, again, another thing that's changed since the NXT UK days, Joe Coffey comes off like the biggest idiot. When I think about it, just like, what happened to him? I just remember him being, like you said, huge. He seemed like just like a tank, like everything. Maybe he wasn't ever really the smartest back then either. I can't really say I remember him being super smart, But it's just like he fell for the whole, Stacks is a snitch or trying to take out he fell for that he's trying to take out. He did the stupid stuff with the bat in this match. I was like, man, they really want him to look like the weak link here.
It's not many
But I used
times.
to think he was the strongest link.
It's not many times they introduce a guy to make it a 3 out of a 2 and they become less successful. Gallus was doing great about it.
Yeah. That's such a great point. And I'm like, it's such the polar opposite of what I remember from watching NXT UK. Because I thought, he was the one who we said that, oh man, it'd be nice for him to get a shot at the NXT UK title and all of that stuff. And it's just like now he's so far removed from that, just at least in the way he's portrayed lately. He just seems like I said, like an idiot. But anyway, the match was solid. It was crowd pleasing, especially the last few minutes, even though it was a lot of shenanigans. But I must say, all of those shenanigans make sense when you think about how nonsensical this entire angle has been. And that's really where I came from. Like, I like the match, but it matched the entire crazy ass story that I'm so happy is finally over, that the soap opera and all of the Tony D being in jail. I create a way for someone to sit out an injury, I'm assuming that's what Tony D was doing. Again.
He wasn't actually in prison. Well,
come on, man.
Come on. Like,
Come on,
they
man.
wouldn't lie to me, would they? I mean, stipulations are important.
Yeah, stipulation. He won a match to get out. I think that seals it for
that's
you.
what you can do.
Someone can win a match for you. You can just get out of jail. Time served, man. You did your time, pal. No, man. Like I said, very solid stuff. The right result, because again, you don't make us sit through all of that storytelling, and then they lose. And you're just like, oh, so you just wanted us to know that they're close? We can assume that. But anyway, 3 3/4 is what I gave it. I didn't think it was bad at all.
No, exactly the same for me as well. 3 3/4 predictions. Well, Jaxie went Gallus. The rest went for the family. So Jaxie on 0. The rest get the first point. We see a Cora J video. We see Ilya. This is the thing about watching Kickoff. I saw Ilya Dragunov and Carmella Hayes arrive. And I watched the main show and I see him arrive again. I think, what, did they leave and come back? Or what was the point of showing me this?
So they don't expect you to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
like, what the hell are you doing watching the Kickoff, man?
We see.
Oh my God.
You see a good build-up video for Blair and Rox on the next match, Weapons Wild. Roxanne Perez versus Blair Davenport. Of course, we see the video of Davenport Perez brawling yesterday at DreamCon, or as it was. Perez hugged her family before the match, only to be attacked by Davenport in a hoodie from the crowd. I like that, Like you said, it starts, starts strong. Davenport choked out the problem is, we're going to talk about the match. As soon as they say, it's like the Cody thing on Raw. Oh, his family's at ringside. You're going, your family are going to be watching.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know what I mean? Like, choked or spat on or. Well, that's why JR used to hate going to Oklahoma. Because he knew.
He knew what was going to happen. Yeah. Time to get embarrassed.
Yeah, well, it said Davenport choked out the prodigy with a belt in front of her family. Until I thought
right in front of him.
I thought the sister was laughing, but she was building up to a cry. So that was the thing. This set of Perez, who battered her with a cowbell, and of course we do need more cowbell. Perez went for pop rocks on a pile of chairs, but Rival reversed it into a spinning net breaker on a garbage can. The prodigy hit a running knee in the steel steps of Davenport and splashed her through a table at ringside, sealing the win with pop rocks on steel chairs. The only thing I will say, I hate the "we want tables" chants. I think I hate them as much as Watts. Let the match build. But I thought for this match, what were your thoughts? Because this was good. Blair going for Booker as well was another cool thing. I will say Davenport.
I loved it. Yeah, man. No, she was great. Like, again, I was really into this match. I wanted to know. I wanted to see what you thought, because maybe my star rating was a little too high, but I'm going to stick with it because I really enjoyed it. The only reason why I say that is because you're 100% right with the family thing. That might be the only thing to me that kind of, like you said, may have took it away or gave you you just knew that there was going to be a lot of work in that area. And I didn't realize they were going to stay like right there. Like the table spot is right there. The Blair's going to stay right there. Roxy's going to do a comeback right there. Like everything. It was pretty much right in that little area. We want to just be right for your family, man. We want every shot. We want you to see her mom. Try.
They should have just made a special guest referee. Like that would have been
exactly at that point. Exactly. Just make her a part of the match. She definitely was. I also like that since by the way, and this is just a geography thing for me. She's from Texas, so everything in Texas is the same, even though she's not from Austin. Like Laredo is nowhere near Austin. Okay, I just want to say, like Texas is a big ass state. Like if you know anything about it, it's a lot of land mass in that one state. So it's just funny to me that she was. I saw a welcome home sign. I'm just like, oh, okay. So just Texas in general is home. We can go there. That's fine. Anyway, I'll leave it alone. But the point is, hell of a match, man. Both ladies were great. Blair worked that crowd really good. Like she was a great heel here. Like you said, like I said, at times was just evil, beating her child right in front of the mom, like beating Roxy right in front of the mom. Like you said, going at Booker T was cool. Like I said, working the crowd at times. I mentioned in the past that Roxy is just honestly at her best, and I think they even know it because that's kind of where they keep her. She's at her best as an underdog, man, and her selling already for someone so young is top tier in my opinion. She garners sympathy really, really well, and I think she did that here. And again, kudos to what Blair was able to do again, being able to be vicious and show. I didn't think, even though she lost this match, I didn't think that she looked like she didn't like. I don't think she looked like she's gonna fall too far from it. Like this is more so about Roxy overcoming her in Texas and in front of her family and all that. That's just more of what it worked, but it still worked to show you the type of person Blair Davenport is too. Even if some part of me would have liked for her to win because it could start a great push for her. We already got a heel champion, so I guess it makes sense to build up your baby faces right now because you're gonna need baby faces to give to Tiffany continuing on. But anyway, like I said, both ladies were great. They fought everywhere, and then the spot at the end was pretty cool. They put their bodies on the line, and I just think I came away from this match saying both ladies have potential to be top stars, for years to come if things work out, man. So I really was into this match, man. I gave it 4.5 stars, even if it was like, again, some of those little things that I can admit was a little off. I still really enjoyed it, and they laid into each other too. By the way, like they really seemed to bring it. Like it was a cowbell. I saw a cattle prod. Like who uses first of all, what the hell is that doing there? But still, nice shout again, just to see stuff like that. So it was cool, man. It was really cool.
Yeah, I really I enjoyed it as well. I gave it a 4.25. I felt both women trying hard. It's great that we have secondary foods as well. My only kind of not issue with the match, but even like with Blair, is like being that bully. And like I said, with the kind of heel champion at the moment, what's the kind of plan for her?
Right. Yeah. Where do you go from here?
Yeah, because with Rox, it's like, we need that showdown, don't we? Her and Stratton.
Yeah.
Maybe September.
That's stand and deliver or something. Like I don't want to wait that long, but yeah, it just feels like that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah. So again, really, really good stuff. Predictions. Jaxie went for Blair. The rest went for Rox. Now, Jaxie, if you're listening, it's not going to go well for you at this point, all right? But stay in there because it might change. Tiffany stretching. Yeah, this actually made me laugh out loud. Not many things like I might laugh out loud. Backstage, Tiff stretching, and Thea decides to Kimura chase. And we see Andre just panicking. I'm like, shit, I actually can't get out of this hold. Which really, really good stuff. Unfortunately, we've got Gable Steveson versus Baron Corbin next. Or, as I say, now Pirate Corbin. I mean, he had a new, I think, surprisingly good theme. Think Sheamus written in my face, right? But why the Pirates? What's
the ship? What is that? And then again, with the whole, you remember the video package about his new character? I don't even remember what happened at the end of it. I just know he walked towards these, like through the torches and stuff. And like, what the hell happened? Like, what's different? That's my biggest question. That's the first thing. I was like, what's exactly different about Corbin other than the music? And he finally got some gear. Like, what happened? Like, what's actually different? Like, I don't even know what makes him a pirate other than the little video that comes up now. I don't. Whatever.
I think
Hey, nice to see you again.
To be fair, I've heard it's because he likes semen as well. But I'm not going to go too far into anything. So there's a lot of things going on. No, like I said, Corbin, if he wants to try that, his new stuff, fair enough.
Whatever.
Unfortunately, the crowd were cheering for Corbin more than Stevenson as they chanted, "You're not Angle." The crowd completely against the non-finish. Both were counted out by the ref. You know, the two kept. There is no excuse for fans to chant bullshit. You know, especially at what I still consider a takeover. All right, this type of finish, no DQ or count out. Save that for your normal shows. All right.
Exactly.
I guess the best spot was after the bell with Stevenson suplexing Corbin through the ringside barricade.
That's also unforgivable. The best part is the brawl. That's unforgivable, man. The brawl after the match cannot be the best part at a live event, like you said, a preview live event or whatever. Like, no, a takeover, no, it can't be, man.
This was just, I mean, the match. It wasn't a match, was it? I don't know what we really.
Not really.
I mean, what were your thoughts? Because it was, I wasn't. Why? Why have this?
Yeah. If you don't want either guy to lose, don't book it. Or like you said, save it for you already had other matches you're going to start making on this show for the next NXT. So just make this NXT, the beginning of NXT or something. If you want to do that finish, honestly. Especially if you want, I understand Corbin just coming back. You don't want him to lose immediately with the new rebrand or whatever, if you want to say that. And then Gable, you definitely don't want him to lose to Corbin in his first match, because then again, it's going to be hard to, come back from that, especially with all the hype that they built around him. So I get that. I just don't get it here. I don't get why it had to happen here. And then this match was, I figure if you booked it here, then Stevenson's gonna go over, right? But if this match is up against it from the start, like you said, you get Corbin chance in your debut, like again, like that's tough. And I understand the outside of the ring stuff. I understand that's gonna follow him probably for his whole career, honestly, that type of stuff. But they also didn't do him favors with the gear. I understand it's very close, or it could exactly be what he wore in the Olympic. But you knew exactly what you knew what you were getting into with the gear, the move set, the whole American flag on the entrance thing. Again, we don't need another Kurt Angle. We don't need him to be Kurt. He won't be Kurt. There's nothing he can do that's gonna make him Kurt Angle. He has to be the first Gable Stevenson. That he has to make us believe that is worth it. That whoever Stevenson is, we need to know who he is. Don't even don't even start off on the foot of having people assume that this has anything to do with Kurt. Because the comparisons are going to come, man. It was just like, I don't care if that gear is what he competed in, Olympic-wise or whatever, because that gear looks exactly like Kurt's gear. And I think this is wrestling. This is professional wrestling. He does not have to wear what he wore as an amateur wrestler. He can actually, get another singlet, something closer to what Damon wears. You know what I mean? Like stuff like I don't understand that decision. But again, like I said, he needs to make people believe in in him and whatever he brings to the table, and not immediately come out and just rub everybody and remind everybody of someone who is literally unmatchable in this field. Like, again, he's gonna have to show us way more than what he was able to show. And then he's fighting Corbin again, a guy that it's not like he's gonna, like, Corbin is gonna have to give a lot, because again, you want Corbin to look strong with this new character, I'm assuming. So it's like, I don't understand the point of this at the end at all. And then even if you want to keep it going with the brawl, that cannot be the most entertaining part of this entire deal. You know what I'm saying? So the fans wasn't into it. I'm sitting at home and I'm like, okay, what's next? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, so it just, at the end of the day, it was just not that interesting compared to, it was interesting for all the wrong reasons. Let's say it that way.
Well, the problem is, I'm old enough to remember when Kurt Angle actually debuted. And
yes.
The thing is, when he did, they kind of did like this mockery of being an American hero. Like we said, the 3 eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him the mic. They made him a
He was
heel.
over the top.
He stopped
Right.
matches midway through to tell people how great he was, you know. And the thing is, it as a face back then. So what would make people think that would work as a good guy in 2023? You know, this one-dimensional. Unless they're going to go, do you know what? It'll work. Texas is just un-American, you know. It's just like, but the thing is, pair him with a mouthpiece, you know, like whoever it is. Even if like Damon, who's improved, I know he will never say on TV that they're related, but you know, it's like, or simple. Kurt Angle's not doing much. Let Kurt manage him. You know, and then do the shit 6 months down the line of Gable beating the fuck out of Kurt and saying, you know, like you said, I'm not the second Kurt Angle, I'm the first Gable Stevenson, and maybe they've got a plan.
Exactly.
Maybe they've got a plan. But I'm thinking, you know, Corbin is the safest pair of hands in WWE as well. So there's no fact, you know, with Gable there. But as he walked through that curtain into the gritter position, I bet he thought I should have picked the fucking Olympics. Like, that should have been my choice. Because fuck me, man. Like, unless something changes, it ain't going to work, is it?
Oh, no. Right now, and like you said, unless something changes, the mouthpiece is a great point. Or just like you said, make him come out and just be a badass. Tear people apart and just leave. You know what I'm saying? That would work too. Because, again, he's legit. He's an amateur. So, like, work on that. You know what I'm saying? Play off that. But I 100% agree with you. Like, right now, if that's what they're going to do, if that's the way they're going to go, they just think shrouding him in American flags and whatever else is going to make him, and just let him come suplex people, that's going to make him get over it. No, they're going to have to repackage him a couple of times and get it right, if that's all they can come up with, man. Because, again, like you said, not only did they do it with tact and they did it the right way with Kurt originally, the whole just being the super patriot character is played out now in 2023. Like, I mean, just in general, if he wasn't a gold medalist, pretty much.
Unless they hire like a big bus and have him go around the country, right, on this bus, telling everybody.
Yeah, that worked very great. The last express worked out perfectly. You're right, man.
You know, let's see. Even scoreless, is it even worth a scoreless match? I'm not sure.
I'm gonna give it. If I'm gonna score it, I'll just give it like 2 stars, maybe. You know, I can't go too much higher than that. Like you said, it was barely even a match, man.
Yeah, I think you're true. 2 there. Then predictions. We all went Gable, so we all get no points. I'm a stickler for the rules. In the count out, we get nada. So Jaxie,
would you have took double count out? Would you have took that if we both all said double count out?
Well,
would you even say, "Oh, you know what? That's a good prediction"? Does that count?
Like in the 9 years of predictions, I think I've gone. I've gone for DQ or count out maybe once or twice.
Okay,
but,
once, right?
But again,
okay, yeah.
You don't, do you? It's like, you know, you just yeah, you can't.
Like, what kind of prediction is that?
I could maybe give everybody a point, but I think it's funnier to give Jaxie nothing at this moment in time. So Jaxie's on 0. The rest are on 2. And we get a great video for the big strong boy. And man, I hope Tyler Bate wins the North American and NXT titles to complete the whole set. Because he'd be the only one. He'd be the only one to win everything. Like, even on the main roster, I dream of him winning the US Intercontinental. He's like, yeah, well, I won everything. It's like every single championship. JC Jane attacked live out page, leading to a brawl, which Ripley enjoyed. Ripley really enjoyed it. Yeah, that's what I fucking want. Come on.
That's what I wanted.
As Dom's heading to the ring, NXT North American Championship, then Dominic Mysterio versus Wesley and Mustafa Ali, and Mysterio got the loudest reaction of the night so far with the boos on his way to the ring. The match started with Lee and Ali agreeing to beat up Dirty Dom, even though Ripley couldn't save him. However, the team didn't last long, but the corner made me laugh where Lee's trying to hit, Ali moves out of the way, unfortunately hits Dom. which, again, really, really good stuff. Mysterio went for the three amigos on Lee, but when Ali got involved, Dirty Dom tried to double suplex both.
Love this spot.
Instead, he hit him with a version of three amigos together. Ali caught Mysterio and Lee in a combination camel clutch and Boston Crab when Dirty Dom broke out. Ali superkicked both, went for the 450 splash in the apron, but missed. This took him out of the action for a while. Lee jumped over Ripley to take out Dirty Dom. Again, this was great. Like, even, we talked about Lash Legend earlier, but Ripley towering over Wesley, you know, and died over her. But the picking him up and riptiding him through the announce table, I think that's my new favourite thing since EO and the trash can. I honestly haven't laughed and we saying so many times when Ripley just so easy. And the announce table broke after. Like, you know what I mean? Wesley was right before the table went, man.
He was already down.
Yeah. That's not protecting.
No, she did it with ease too, though, man. You know what the funniest part too is? Wes knew he was in trouble because the way he ran from her before that. It's like, oh man, I just love it. He's like you're running from, like a child running from their parent, just like trying to get away. But yeah, no, it was great. She snatched him up easily.
But somehow Lee managed to kick out. He also kicked out of the Women's World Championship to the face. At that
best
point,
part of this.
Yeah, man, I'm going, do you know what? This is close. And then when Mustafa Ali went up top, hit the 450 splash, I thought, now it is. But Mummy pulled Ali outside, and Dirty Dom stole the win with the frog splash. And do you know what's funny? And people might not admit this. The crowd wanted Dom to retain. It was really, really weird.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know it's a
kind of crazy,
heel,
right?
but they want this on NXT, and I don't blame them because this triple threat match, Wesley can, like, we talk about certain wrestlers at events, but Wesley might be Mr. PLE for NXT. I mean, I know we've got Mello, but like, is there an event we don't talk about Wesley kind of stealing the show with performance? And this one was about the heart and the grit, even though he came up short.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. He's definitely right there next to Mello as far as Mr. PLE. And I would put both of them with their current NXT runs. You know, they're if these were still, they're Johnny Take. They're not Johnny Takeover, but you know exactly what I mean. Like they're becoming to that level with just the sheer amount of great matches they're putting on in these positions. But anyway, man, this is fun as hell, man. It made Dom and Rhea look awesome, honestly, as heels. You had after the match, you actually had felt a little bit of sympathy, as much as a little twat you can kind of say Ali was being for the feud. You felt sorry for Ali after this. It was like, oh, he got screwed again. Every time he's so close to always winning the title, and there he goes, screwed in the end again. And then, like you said, man, Wesley, he even, at first when I first saw Rhea Ripley do the spot and do it, I was like, it's fine, but I really can't wait for some male wrestler to either go ahead and just pull the trigger on Rhea, or have a woman, to pull up and finally at least distract her. In the future, we've already seen it kind of happen, but again, she's such a cheat code out there, man. Because like none of the guys want to do anything to her. But she has no problem with throwing them around easily, and it just works out perfectly. But again, the Three Amigos spot was beautiful. I really liked that, and like you said, just the tandem offense of taking Dom out was cool. And Dom plays cowardly heel so great. He just does it. Some people may think he has a lot of work to do, and I do agree. He probably needs to improve in a couple of areas still. But for someone again to be this new to running heel, and like again, I love Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio was never really a heel other than like a few, a little time in WCW that nobody talked about because nobody watched WCW in 2000 or whenever they were doing the Filthy Animals or whatever. But yeah, so for Dom to have such good heel timing, I guess it's because of the people he's been around. I really have to give him props for being so good in this position that just, coming out on top, and then again, like you said, even though the people hated him at the beginning or throughout the match, towards the end they wanted it to work out. Again, also because of how awesome Nami is, but again, it really, really worked. And at the end of the match, you got to look at all that stuff Wesley went through, and he kicked out of most of it. It took 2 finishers in a row pretty much to finally get him to lay down. I was like, you know what? Rhea's involvement is kind of cheap, but at the same time, he looked so strong. I love it. I love it because he just ended up looking like, look how much what it took to finally keep Wesley down. So, yeah, man, Wesley was an MVP here, 100%.
Yeah,
it worked perfectly.
Even the spot at the end with Dom kind of like trio woe outside the ring, the way the finish happened where you weren't sure if Ripley was going to get involved and stuff like that. Like I said, great frog splash and just really, really good. I mean, I gave that 4 3/4 out of 5. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I wasn't as high on it as that. I gave it 4 1/4, but I definitely understand. It was really a good time.
Yeah, really, really fun. Predictions? Well, I went Ali. Gina Monty went Dom. Jaxie went for Wesley. So it means that Monty and Gina are tied in first place of 3. She is fucking breathing down your neck.
She's killing it.
Yeah, like, be very careful. I'm on 2. Jaxie yet to score. We say Trick have words for Ilya Dragunov. Like I said, I thought the fucker was taken out. Then the NXT Women's Championship submission: Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hale. The Buff Barbie came out full cowgirl Barbie-inspired gear for this match. Stratton went for an early surfboard lock that Hale reversed into an armbar, teasing the Kimura, but the champion escaped. Hudson kept a hold of his MVP trophy, but he was clearly invested in the action. Hale hyped up. Stratton caught Hale on a diving crossbody and powered her up to the feet. The challenger tried to lock in the Kimura, but the champion suplexed her into the bottom turnbuckle. The challenger finally locked in the Kimura after the suplex, but Stratton pulled herself outside. Hale followed to lock in the Kimura, but was sent into the barricade and still steps. Tiff then hit the prettiest moonsault ever and eventually locked in a Boston Crab. I mean, we're going to speak about this Boston Crab. Again, Thea Hale couldn't get out of it, even though it seemed Tiff could. But Andre Chase threw in the towel and Hale would not quit. Duke looked frustrated with the lack of trust in his student, but Andre thought Thea could fight another day. This told the story of this, I think. And the other thing I quite liked about the crowd is you can tell they're involved in the story when they're going, you tapped out, no, she didn't chance, yes, she did. So people are there for the story. And like we mentioned earlier, these are two very, I think they, again, NXT always breaks records. The youngest kind of women's match in WWE history or wherever it was. And I think both women acquit themselves very well.
Yeah, man. It's unbelievable when you think about it. They're what? I think if you put their ages together, you barely get over 50. I think at this point or whatever. So like, yeah, man, 24 and 19. My math could be off. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, don't matter. The point is, they're young.
Yeah, 43. I think. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So not even 50. That's my point. You got me. You understood.
I the same age as AJ Styles together. That's basically.
There you go. There you go. Both of them make that. Thank you. That's what I needed. I needed a reference. Anyway, like I said, I never was good at. Anyway, but yeah, man, so young to be so solid here, man. And I thought, like you mentioned, man, to already be in this spot, just kind of for Thea to be in this spot at 19, not even 20, speaks to her potential. I think everybody at this point gets it. If you watch enough of this and you've seen her go, I think even in this match, she had moments where I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I think Tiffany led the way kind of in this one. So to see her in that spot already too was really cool for me because again, I think just this time last year, whatever, she was still just developing or whatever. So to see her already on top and kind of leading it. And I thought whoever put the match together or if they did it, the psychology in this one was so great. Like you said, the work Tiffany did on that back throughout the match, I kind of just knew it was going to lead to something. I didn't think it would be a Boston Crab. I actually liked the other submission host she did earlier that kind of made it look like she was breaking Thea's back. I kind of wish she went back to that, or or maybe something. But again, it wasn't nothing wrong with it.
Just taken a crossface. You know what I mean? Just say
that too. That too. But anything that wrenched back on the back would have worked. You know what I mean? Anything. But it's fine. I won't be too hard on her. Even though the only thing I will admit, and I know you're probably gonna get on it, but with the Boston Crab or whatever, and she was fine once she kept it, like when she was just sitting on her, but it's like she didn't want to maintain it, I guess, for dramatics, and that's the thing that took away from him throwing the towel, because it's like, hold on, now, it doesn't even look that excruciating yet. She couldn't even really get it clean as she wanted to, and it's
she
like
went to cinch back, and yet he threw the towel in already. Like, she went to readjust.
Right?
Like, no, she didn't too much paint. No,
no. And that makes Andre look bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if it would have worked out and you could have been like in a lion tamer position or something, maybe you could see, it would make more sense. And then, it had to be in there maybe a little bit longer, but it worked out. They were in there a while. She worked the back completely. Even though Thea also had some pretty good hope spots in there, working the arm. And so, the throwing in the towel part to save her from herself makes sense from a coach's perspective. But I love Duke's reaction. We'll talk about what happened. We'll talk about the fallout from this too later. And that was an interesting thing to think about. But yeah, man, you can see that this is going to probably lead to something for Chase U going forward. But I love this match, man, because it was much better than I expected. So that might be why my rating is what it is, because I just really was high on it from the beginning, because maybe I'm just impressed because I know where these two come from when it comes to quality in the ring. Like we talked about, 2.0 had a lot of 2-minute matches, nowhere near the quality that they are starting to go into. And when you think about how far Tiffany and Thea, for that matter, have come and what they did here, I thought this was pretty special for both of them, man. And I came away from this liking both ladies more. And I think that's pretty much the goal. I think if you can come back looking at the heel and say, Tiffany looked really smart here. Like this is the first match where I was like, Tiffany seemed very, very smart in this match. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then Thea seemed like she had a lot of heart. And I think that's the result that you really wanted in the end, even if the crab and the finish wasn't perfect. So I still ended up on 4.25. I really loved it.
Yeah, I gave it a 4. Well, I get 3.95, but your argument, I'm going to pump it up to 4. Because, like I said, it was good stuff from two talents that are only going to get better. You said, when you've got, no offense to like a JC Jane or a Dana Brooke, where you can see where the development is needed. With these, it's just experience, if you know what I mean. So there is
exactly. They just need to be in this spot more. And again, with that age, we can be watching them for the by the time one of them are 43, and they'll still be doing this.
Literally, the same age. So yeah. But more importantly, prediction-wise, Jaxie gets her first point. We all went Tiffany. Sweet. So yes, Jaxie's off the mark on 1. I'm on 3. Monty, Gina cannot be separated on 4 at this moment in time as we move on to the main event. And I tell you what, I love the big fight music when they're making their way to the ring. I just fuck it. It's just what it should be. For the NXT Championship, Carmelo Hayes versus Leah Dragunov Flores. Vic Joseph said, Destiny versus Dynasty. And Azar came out with, of course, the red contacts, with Vic Joseph again saying he was seeing red. We see a Dusty Rhodes quote was played to hype up Melo before he appeared. Get a dream, hold on to it, and shoot for the sky. He is him. Now, has Melo got the best entrances at like a PLE event? Because it seems every time he's just bringing it as well. Like the entrance is entertaining as some matches. I liked his entrance more than the Corbin match. Like,
right. Yeah, no. To be fair, I 100% agree with you. And you know what the funniest thing about it? It reminds me, and this is an unnecessary Braun shot, but it has nothing to do with him. But when Braun was coming out and breaking stuff every main event, I'm like, oh no, they're doing way better than that era when he just had to break something every time. So yeah, no, he's been killing it. I love his interests. And even now, this time without Trick Williams kind of narrating and hyping him up even more too, he still felt big time. So again, he got star man written all over.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. He didn't have Trick. He had Dusty Rhodes kind of hyping him up. Like he said, you can't get more.
Right. Like,
you get more like
it's
that,
totally getting bigger.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you have Vince at the beginning.
The greatest superstar of all time. That's what's going to be like literally the next one. But as for the match, the filling out process, which you know it's a big match. I always used to say this even back in the day. You know it's going to be a nice, long, and important matchup when they start with the filling out process, and you see them testing each other. Ilya then began picking apart the champion. You don't want to hear it, but he did. But the physical war was everything it promised to be. Ilya Dragunov turned the chest of Carmelo Hayes red early and didn't stop chopping. Melo superkicked Dragunov into the ropes. He rebounded with a Constantine special. He followed up with a forearm smash and a hammerlock submission that nearly forced a tap out. And then we just, again, the match built and built and built. And then we just went into this crazy zone. Ian went for a coast-to-coast and caught with a code breaker. And fuck me, man. Ilya bounced. Like, have you ever seen a guy flip inside? It was incredible. Like, how the fuck can you do that?
Yeah, that sale was insane. And then he had enough energy to drop Melo on his head for the powerbomb reversal right after that.
Nothing but net, but Dragunov caught the powerbomb. You're going, fuck me, in a forearm smash. Didn't get the job done. And that wasn't enough, because they went up top and Melo caught Dragunov for a top rope cutter. It's like, who takes that? Sweet baby Jesus.
Oh my God.
When it looked like neither could go further, Trick Williams, and this is why I've called him the best corner man, found his friend and hyped him up. But as he was doing it,
man.
Yeah, he had Trick's going the NXT title in his hand and go, this is what you've got. This is what you're fighting for. The Tsar didn't see it and dived into the champion at ringside and ran right into Trick and the NXT Championship instead. Now, you might say, well, why didn't he notice? It's here, Dragunov. He goes head first into a table at the last event. He doesn't care what's there.
He don't care.
Unfortunately, though.
He shot out of a cannon, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, though, as he got back in the ring, the champion hit nothing but net to win and retain.
Ooh.
And man, all I got to say, Bron and Melo, this wasn't. This is NXT, man, isn't it?
Man. Yeah, man, this was special, bro. This was so special. Like you said, they started off slow and they just kind of built it from there and it picked up. And in typical Dragunov fashion, he beat the hell out of Melo, man. He was just whooping. And I hinted at it earlier, but that's what, like, I've watched Dragunov beat up people, but for the most part, especially in his run, he always takes just as much. Like, I'm watching him with Jordan Devlin, watching him with just Dijak, or even the great match he had with Breaker, just talking about recent. But if we go back to NXT UK, of course, with Walter and all of that, again, he usually takes just as much damage as he dished out. In this match, like, Melo fought back, but it did not measure up to the way Dragunov was beating him up. Like, oh my goodness, like. And I think, again, I came away from this match for the first time in Melo's career saying, wow, Melo looks really tough in this one, just for surviving a lot of the stuff that he survived in this one, man. And then they mixed in their athleticism with the big spots, as the match picks up. It was just fantastic. And to watch this match develop into what it was, like you said, with those spots that we talked about earlier, and just looking at the heart that Melo and Dragunov had to show. The physicality was there. The crowd was into everything they did, and it only got better as things going on. And again, like I said, watching him be the aggressor, you mentioned it earlier. I'm down. At first, I wasn't so sure, but I'm down with Dragunov just walking around beating the hell out of people and just taking it too far. Red contacts in, just you know. Now the thing is, right now we have a lot of bad guys running around beating up people. But again, are any of them as tough as Dragunov? Like no, like he's already beaten Dijak, he's already beaten Badass Breaker. So I just think having Dragunov, and Dragunov is not much bigger. If he is bigger than Melo, I don't think he really is. I think he's like a little shorter, but I don't know. But that's my point. For him to be not that big and to pack that much of a punch and like to still be that intense and making Melo look like $1,000,000 for finding a way to overcome him. And then the same thing for the Dragon for finding a way to just kick out of some of the stuff that happened. You know, it was just, man, he's a force of nature. That's the best way I can say about Dragunov. He fights like a force of nature, and it's unbelievable that he fights the way he fights at that size because you couldn't tell that he's not a super heavyweight at times, the way he is. You just can't tell. So this was brilliant, man. It was just perfect for me. Melo went toe-to-toe with the toughest man, by far the toughest man to me in NXT, and he survived, man. I want him to do it again some way, shape, or form. Let it cool off. Don't have to rush, but they have to do it again down the line. And maybe Dragunov needs to be the guy to eventually get Melo, but it's just not to be right now. Just not yet. I love this, man. It was perfect for me, man. 5 stars, no doubt.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, it reminds me a little bit of when Shawn Michaels won the world title, and they were going, "Oh, he's too pretty. You know, we need a little bit of toughness." So they put him in a ring with Mankind. Yeah. You know, and like I said, at Mind Games, they blew the roof off.
Right.
And this is, like you said, this was Hayes' showing everybody, no, he can go with someone like Dragunov, and there is no one like Ilya Dragunov. Like. Again, we've got Gunther on the main roster, as we know, but Gunther's still quite an intimidating figure, you know, like I said, size-wise.
Right.
With the, and again, I hate to say it, but I get like hints of Benoit off him, and not in the kind of like technical way, but like, you know, like diving head first and splitting yourself open, and just, you know what I mean, like not giving a fuck in that way, like.
He'll rip you apart and he don't care what happens to himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, the few things you don't do. You don't spit in the wind. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't try and chop Ilya Dragunov. But Melo was like, do you know what? Let me try it. And
he paid.
But he is just this visceral, guttural kind of emotion and just physicality. That, like, the dude became number contender off one match. You know, the match against Dijak, and that was, at that point, it's like, oh, you're number one contender now. You know, like I said, we need, the way those two meshed, to have kind of, I don't say your world meeting my world, because it's both our worlds.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the kind of, the way it worked so well. And again, Melo, as good as the guy across the ring from him. He's proved this now in NXT that, you know, you put him in a ring with you put him in a ring with a Ricochet, he's going to be greatness. What he needs to do to get to that next level is how to proper carry someone, you know, like he did with Brom. But again, that is a Shawn Michaels angle. You know, like, it takes a very special talent to be able to carry other wrestlers. But as for Melo and his title run, like, yes, I was upset Ilya didn't win, but man, Melo looked like a fucking looked great. Everybody looked great from this situation, and like I said, when it works, you know.
I 100% agree. Like everybody came out just looking strong. Like, even Trick as a corner man or whatever, like, he just looked very, very smart. He didn't even do anything cheap because I was worried. I was like, I hope he don't do anything or don't turn on Melo right now. I was like, please don't decide that this is the time for this. Like, they're cooking right now. This is too special for a finish like that. So, like, yeah, man, even if Dragunov would have won, I would have came away from this and said 5 stars, because even though I thought Melo showcased the toughness and did everything he needed to do, like you said, it's just nothing like Dragunov. Like, I honestly came away. I think I tweeted it out that same night. I was like, if you have never seen Dragunov fight and you can't, like, you think he's not a top 10 wrestler in the world, like, seriously. And I watch wrestlers from everywhere. And I honestly think, and it's always tough. The top 10 is fluid in professional wrestling. Sometimes some people slide in, some people slide out. It's really like, how's it going right now? Right now, I'll take Dragunov over a host of people, like, you know, in any promotion, because it's just, like you said, you just can't teach what he has. It's just everything about him. He's just different.
and
can't teach it.
You know it's gonna come, and that's the other thing about it's like it is just incredible. Like someone
he hasn't let me down yet.
Oh my word! What a match! Like I said, 5 stars all round. And again, fuck Dave Meltzer. But predictions for this final scores, Monty, coming up. Well, predictions, if you know or not, Jaxie went for Mello. I went for Dragunov. Monty,
come on, Gina, what you do?
You went Mello. Gina, it went Ilya Dragunov. So the final scores, I know. Jaxie got the last 2, so she was. I mean, if this was a 12-match card, she'd probably win.
Yeah.
I went building momentum towards the end. I went with my heart and ended on 3. Gina ended on 4, but pushed you all the way. Monty on 5. So another bonus point and another NXT win. Do you know? I don't think I've won an NXT this year. I'll have to look back, but I really don't. Like you've been on fire, baby. That's the rose, baby. You've been on fire. Monty's been on fire with the predictions.
That's a good one. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one. All I can do is just say I told you guys my end of the year predictions are shit. I'm taking this seriously. I gotta win as many of these specials as I can because after what happened last year and how Jackson just shot up because of those, it's gonna work for me. So I need to have some type of lead. Well, we'll see. But hey,
speaking of lead, you do take the lead on the bonus league now. So Jaxie Gina on 11, I'm on 14, you're on 15. And do you know something as well, Monty? Not to put pressure on the predictions you're about to give in about 10 minutes' time.
Yeah, I'm already feeling that, by the way.
If you win that, you will then be in the lead of all 3 prediction leagues. And it will be the first time someone has done that other than me in the last 6 years. All right? So you have a chance to make podcast history. But no pressure. As for Great American Bash, we talk about match of the night, obviously main event. MVP for me was so difficult. So I'm going to ask you first because I'm probably going to cop out my answer.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really, really tough because, like you said, it was a lot. Not only did we have a lot of good, fun moments, and I thought a lot of people came out of Great American Bash looking better. I just couldn't, after that main event, I could not give it to anyone other than Carmelo, man. I just thought he gained a lot in my eyes when it comes. Not that he needed to gain much to me, but it just when he just looked tough. Again, it gave, like you said, it gives you a guy who's a pretty boy or a guy who's confident, cocky, and all of that, athletic. Now he has a match that you can point to and you can be like, no, this is his edge. You want to see his edge in a match or how much damage he can take? Here it goes right here. So, yeah, man, I just thought, honestly, I just want to give it to both of them because, you need a dancing partner in this situation. But Melo is definitely my MVP, and Dragunov is right there with him.
Well, I've given it to Ilya Dragunov, so again, it works out
there you go.
really well, I suppose. Like you said,
perfectly.
A guy with that performance, you can't give it. But like I said, Melo, again, Wesley was fantastic. That kickoff match
Wesley
as well, all 8 were great
right
in there. Like I said, really, really good way to start. The family, like I said, Blair rocks. The only thing stopping this event for becoming an all-timer is that fucking call.
Right in the middle.
I know. So what are you going to score it? Because I'm still going to score it good, but again, it was so close to being like one of the greatest shows.
Yeah, man, I think I would have gave it, like, honestly, if you just take it out, not replace it, just take it out. You get like a 9.5, maybe, something like in that range. It's like that's how good it is as far as the quality of stuff we get. But I'm gonna go back a whole entire like point maybe and give it like 8 3/4 maybe. I'm gonna give it like 8.5. Yeah, 8.5. I'm gonna go back because as much as I enjoyed a lot of it, it was definitely still some stuff there in that match. really shouldn't have even been here when you think about all that it actually accomplished. Like the only thing looking back on it accomplished was making Stevenson look worse than he did before his debut. So it just really didn't help anything. It didn't even it didn't establish Corbin's new character. Really, it didn't do anything, honestly, other than make him look bad. So that's all the way. Like again, if I could have gave it, if I was disrespectful enough to give anyone performing for my entertainment negative stars, I probably would have done it. But it wasn't their fault. It was just they were in a shit situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rest of the card, though, like we mentioned, very strong. Everything was good to really good, and then you got that masterpiece at the end. So yeah, man, I honestly came away from this genuinely entertained, and other than that one thing, that one pretty much segment there, everything else was really cool and advanced everything pretty much the perfect way, honestly. And like you said, it's rare that we can get something that strong all the way from the kickoff to the main event, pretty much. Other if you just omit that one part, like it's rare that you get a card like that. But this was really one of those cards. I thought it was still fun, and then the crowd was into the show the entire night. I didn't feel like it was one match that they was like not into, and that's kind of cool to see when you think about how NXT is like. Sometimes when they go to these bigger arenas, you wonder, like, is everyone in these arenas even watching the shows weekly or whatever? But Texas seemed to be really into NXT. So I was really happy about this one. This is a really good show.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9, and I'm just going to add a couple of points. Like I said, the setup of the show itself, to be able to see the crowd kind of surround the ring, and even though top section, but the way they did it, it would look packed.
Right.
And also, to have a show, and this is going to be a really deciding factor as well, 2 hours, 24 minutes. I know we had a kickoff,
yes,
which was maybe an extra 10 minutes of your time, but for 2.5 hours to get this action, we'd be halfway through an AEW show at this point. So it's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a 9 because, like I said, really, really good stuff. NXT is on an upward trajectory, but we got a final NXT, which is August 1st. The show opened with Gallus attacking the family in the parking lot. Tony D warned that they were dead man walking. A match Rhea Ripley watched very closely live. Outcry versus JC Jane. Jane promised to end the fight on commentary. Well, she promised to end the fight, but she was on commentary at the time. Not that she ended, I'm just like.
Slapped the hell out of Vic, right?
My fucking God. I don't think Vic was expecting that. Booker's like, fuck me. Try it on me. See what you get. You get a bookend for the table. Valkyrie's music hit. She then attacked Valkyrie at ringside, ruining her entrance. And Saint pissed me off even more, leaving a black leaf in the ring, which the ref decided to try and backheel a few times and failed. Like, what the fuck? Luckily, there was an ad break, and it wasn't there when we came back, so that was all right. But anyway, match, Lyra got the win and showed how good she is and the work Jane needs.
Got a solid match out of JC somehow, too. So another point for Lyra, getting a good match out of JC Jane.
You can tell she had to kind of slow down a wee bit, but again, like I said, it's good. Lyra is improving. In the locker room, Trick Williams told Carmella Hayes he needed to do his own thing.
Oh, man.
Challenging Ilya Dragunov about help. I mean, it's not going to end well. I mean, I don't know if about separating Mello and Trick or the fact that Trick is just about to be murdered. Like, what's.
Yeah. That's the underlying thing here. As much as I love the respectful split and, no turning and all of that, like, just imagine if we ever got to see Shaw and Noam get this, something like that. But anyway, yeah, it was cool to see them actually do that. But you're right. That's the underlying theme here. It's like he's splitting up with Mello so he can fight Dragunov with no backup. Ugh.
He's like,
I wouldn't advise it.
I'm going to war. Hold my gun. I won't need it. I
want to be my own man. Yeah. You gonna challenge that man after what Mello just went through? Mello also had a great line. I don't know. I think he said it later, but he was like he can't even breathe in his chest or something because, so he's still feeling the effects of the chops, and that's who you gonna fight alone? Oh man.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck's your problem? Anyway, we see Rhea Ripley and Dirty Dom celebrating the NXT North American Champion's latest victory. Dragon Lee arrived to challenge Dirty Dom Rey Mysterio appeared on the title to announce he will be in attendance for next week for the title match. So I'm looking forward to that on the next update. Later in the night, Axiom confronted Dom, who thinks all masked guys look the same. So I assume,
Right.
he's
Completely
like, Dad,
different, man.
are you my dad? Like, no, I'm Axiom. Oh, sorry. It's like, Dad? No, Scripps. Like, again, but the North American title, so many challenges when you think about Ali, Wesley, Tyler Bate, Axiom, now Dragon Lee. It's
Did Axiom give up on the cup?
Yeah,
And did he just beat up Scripps 1 week and said, you know what, I'm not going back down that Scripps road. he stopped. He gave up on the cup, and he just said, screw Scripps. I got him back. I guess we'll move on.
And again, another thing I liked about the show was Wesley being pissed off, or a bit pissed.
Yes.
As he got in the
I love
face
it.
of Mello in the locker room, who was frustrated. Dara Mensah made fun of both men until the fight broke out. I mean, why? Why would you do it? But I suppose, you have to. We then get Dijak versus Eddie Thorpe. Dijak ended Eddie Thorpe's left arm early. Hard Justice took advantage, sealing his victory with discus boots into the shoulder. Yeah, that will teach you to have a good match on Underground. Yeah, Eddie, we're going to job you out.
Right. Right. Like, what was that for? Like, seriously. Like, I don't get it, but whatever. Well, you got a great match out of the best match of Damon's career so far.
You're getting buried.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Valentina Feroz and Yulisa Leon lost to Electra Lopez and Lola Vice. That will teach you to be good at the Premium Live event. How dare you? Don't get over. Oh, how dare you? And then we get Carmella Hayes and Wesley versus Metaphor. Of course, Hayes and Lee could not put it all together as a team to fight some strong offense, or remains to pull Mello into a cardiac kick. He then caught Lee with a super kick, set up Noam Dar for the Nova Roller to win. I'm being really nice because Aura fucks ain't up. Fans charted it. This was a bit.
He was trying to do his kick he did in Texas, and he screwed it up. The dive. He tried to do that, and he slipped. I think. Yeah.
I think right. What we got to think about here is again we see Mello and Lee arguing about after the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
Again, where's Lee and Mello for that NXT title at No Mercy?
Yes.
Fucking hell!
Give me that.
That's the thing. Should say great entrance for Metaphor. They've got their entrance now,
I love it. Yeah, I agree. The silhouettes and stuff and how they're posing, I love it.
And how good is it for Aura, like we said, to be involved with these three guys? Like the talent there to be involved. He's only going to learn. Dar is a future champion of something. That's what I'm going to say. Bron Breakker warned Von Wagner about stepping up to him. Bron said, if you think that picture of you as a child is fucked up, wait till next week. Whoa, Bron.
No, I'm so glad they did that because you gave me a hard time about it. And look at what Bron does weeks later. You cannot tell me I was anywhere as bad as what Bron.
Bron's like, you were fucked up then, you're a freak, and I'm going to fuck you up even more. Unbelievable. Baron Corbin was a prick to Thea Hale earlier in the night, which led to a match versus Andre Chase. Hale did throw in a towel while Chase was stuck in a single-leg Boston Crab, but the referee didn't see. She stormed out of the match. And then Corbin won with End of Days anyway. So I'm kind of going, you've made Chase look weaker? Like, how is that possible?
And then the crowd just giving him a hard time. I'm like, it's not his fault the Boston crowd was shit, okay?
We then see a great Rocks video of her in Texas. Of course, like you said, because she's so close to home. We then see the Schism interrogating the masked men supporting the group. Ikemen Jiro revealed he was one of the men under the mask. So there we go. And then
I pop for that. I
know, it's great. But one of the things, when did the Creed brothers kind of get personality? Because that backstage video, I know it was stupid, but it was like, we're seeing a different side to him that we've never. They actually seem quite entertaining. You know,
Right? No, I agree.
Like,
the jokes actually landed for a change. You know, yeah, no, they didn't seem as awkward as they did on the mic too. I don't know if that was just the best content they've been able to work with or what, but it definitely worked well right there. Maybe it's because it was pre-taped or something that it worked well too. But I don't know. But it definitely worked.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Gacy was a little bit off, but fuck him, Schism are done soon anyway. And after a loss last week, Cora Jade is done, packing up her stuff and deciding to leave
Literally.
NXT. The generation of Jade wasn't really what she made it out to be, did she?
Not at all. You know what though? I hate this because I actually be trying my best for Dana, but see what happens when you lose to Dana, bro.
You're like, do you know what?
Just quit.
I'm just gonna retire. I'm not. I'm gonna stay away from public life, become a hermit. Just do all that. Yeah, interesting time. And then the main event, we had Gallus versus Tony D, Stacks, and a mystery partner. Who would that mystery partner be? Well, long-term storytelling, I hear you call.
I mean, not much.
It was. I mean, what are you talking about? This is a great pull. Santos Escobar. No. To be fair, they had a couple of good moments.
Towards the end there, I guess.
Towards
the end. Yeah, that's fair.
Look,
but I'm just like last time I remember, he made Legato split up, and they just went to SmackDown.
At least it wasn't like Pretty Deadly, like with Pretty Deadly. Right. Like, you tried to murder them last time out. Yeah. I suppose, But Santos...
I love that, by the way, when they saw Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, that was fucking brilliant, wasn't it? That
was awesome.
Hiding in the wheelchair. The crowd chanted "Welcome back" after Escobar returned as the third man, and the three men hugged after a successful victory together. And I'm going, oh, that's nice. And then suddenly, Ilya Dragunov promising to take the blood of Trick Williams.
You're the whole mood.
Trick, you are
dead. Such a happy ending. Yes, and I'm like, oh my God, Trick might not get a lick. He might not get one offensive move. Like, he's gonna kill him.
It's just like,
oh my
Jesus.
God.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to NXT next month for like the Dom and Dragon Lee match and Axiom and Ali, but like not for that. That's going to be rough. But that is NXT this month. Monty, what were your thoughts? I ask every month. What were your thoughts? Because like I said, I feel we're on an upward trajectory, if I can say that right. Trajectory.
Yeah, man, I agree. And I love that we're already, it seems like all the awesome names from WWE history that WWE don't want to use anymore. Like, I love it. No Mercy's back. Cool. I'm cool with that. I miss No Mercy, man. It used to be one of my favorite at least names for a pay-per-view, right along with Judgment Day. I used to love that. That's a group now, so I guess they probably won't ever do that one again. But anyway, but yeah, I love No Mercy as a concept, so I'm really looking forward to the build. And like, it seems like we're getting there. I don't think Wesley is going to turn heel, but I do love the logic. Like, he's frustrated. He's losing a lot now. Like, what is that going to bring out of Wesley? Will it be a heel turn? Will it be just a more aggressive side of him? And then, like you said, we got Dragunov is going to probably be running wild. He might want another rematch eventually, especially if he kills Trick, like I'm predicting he probably will. God, yeah. Dom's run every week. So, yeah, man, I can't wait to see what we have going on. Tiffany hinted at naming a new contender, so what's next there? I don't know where. Honestly, I'm trying to think in the women's division who's logically next other than Roxy. I don't know if they're going to go there right now.
I'm trying to work out who Blair Davenport was taken out. Like, trying to work
that's fair
out,
too.
Like, we've got 8 returns.
Yeah,
coming
who can come
soon,
back?
Haven't we? Like,
Soul Ruka, yeah.
Who's been attacked?
Yeah, like so. It's a great point. But yeah, so we'll see how everything shake out in that department. But yeah, I agree. We're going towards a high point, and I know you can't wait for the Matt Classic that will be Braun Breaker versus Von Wagner.
Well, to be fair, we're gonna have...
No reaction. No.
Like I said, I'm gonna blank that because we're gonna have Bate and Dar for the fake Heritage Cup. So again,
yeah. By the way, what the fuck? What happened to Frazier? He just didn't even. He don't care that Noam Dar's defending The phony cup.
Was
He
he
just
even
what
on
happened to him? He just
NXT?
disappeared.
Was he? Yeah, he
No,
wasn't
they
there,
didn't even
was he?
mention him.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I bet
Tyler
he's on
Bate
Level
was
Up this week. I bet you any money. Like, let's put money down on
right.
it. Level Up or fucking main event. Like, they went good
Something like
performance.
that. Yeah. And by the way, Tyler Bate can just go on retreats unannounced. That's what he was. That's how they explain him disappearing. Like that's the one thing I love about NXT. You can just disappear with no explanation.
With Bate, you can, like you said, he doesn't pick up victories. He just leaves after losing, and then returns.
Right.
He's like Damon Kemp, who will just return and then just lose again and then disappear again. Like I said, it'll be interesting. But no, like I said,
I forgot about that.
There is good times ahead. Like we said, the amount of talent.
Yeah, I agree.
That is there. It is interesting times. And speaking of good times ahead, well, it is SummerSlam tomorrow night as we speak. So we'll just do predictions. It's been a bit of a longer NXT than normal, but it's only because Great American Bash was so good. But we're on SummerSlam now. We're going to start with a SummerSlam Battle Royal. So if I go for you, is it only fair? Jackson and Gina haven't given us predictions yet. So if you go, then I go, and then hopefully we're not, they don't listen and copy us. Because,
right, gotcha.
I'm not saying they would. Not mine.
Gotcha. Honestly, I feel like it'll be a mistake. Honestly, I think they're calling it the Slim Jim Battle Royal. So it just feels like with the little ad I've been seeing of LA Knight doing all of this promotional work, it just feels like it's meant for him to win. Now, of course, WWE could do what they usually do and just swerve us all just for the hell of it. In that case, I would probably say maybe somebody like Big Bronson Reed. But the big guys don't ever win these Battle Royals as much anymore. It has no stakes. I'm going with LA Knight. Just give him a moment. Why not?
I would say if it's a Slim Jim, like Jim Duggan to make an appearance, or like a Macho Man imposter, like, just a Slim Jim. But,
Snap to Slim Jim.
Ooh, yeah. But I'm doing all the wrestling impersonations tonight.
Right.
LA Knight is the one I'm going to pick. LA Knight,
yeah.
Up next, and I'm going to take it, and you're going to be surprised, but it's Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I'm no idiot. I may look it, I may sound it, but I'm not. I know Gunther is literally on the precipice of breaking Honky Tonk's record. And what sounds more impressive? Longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, Gunther, a Honky Tonk man. So
exactly. Come on, man.
Even though Drew, this matchup is going to be, we spoke about Hayes and Nia earlier. Like this is a matchup that's going to steal the show. Like given time, given what they can, I'll be interested to see how the finish goes. Whether Drew kind of not get screwed over by Imperium or something like this, because I don't think he needs that. I think he needs a straight up loss, and then. Well, you know what Drew needs to come from this as well. What were your predictions for this one?
Yeah, man. I've been steadfast on this, especially since he's gotten closer. We haven't had anyone even remotely this close and remotely this dominant and still so good, no matter what situation the story that he's telling is in. I think, honestly, you're 100% right. I would love to see him just beat Drew flat out. But I honestly think they may chicken out on it and still get Ludwig Kaiser involved or something maybe, especially since they tried to big him up, right? Yeah, I love the way he speaks. He's been awesome, right? He's awesome. But yeah, even though he is a thief, taking Sonata's finisher, I let it slide.
I was going to say that to you. I did notice
everyone takes from everything. It's wrestling.
Like.
Right, yeah, don't get Kendall started. Right, yeah, exactly. But it all worked out in the end. I think they're going to chicken out and probably give Gunther not the straight up victory. But yeah, I still think Gunther needs to win this. I would love it if he just power bombs or whatever the myriad of finishes that Gunther comes up with. However he wants to do it, put Drew down, and we'll see what they do with Drew after that. Be creative. And, they can always run this back because I'm with you. I think in this match of the year type contender type thing, I think we'll be looking back at this one the same way we look back at the Sheamus and Drew triple threat and all of that. I think this can be that special.
Yeah. What about Ricochet versus Logan Paul? Because like I said, we're expecting saying there's going to be a couple of spots here, and isn't there to kind of
it's going to go viral.
So
that's guaranteed.
This is the thing, but who comes out on top in this one?
After the last Raw, I really was high on Ricochet doing it, especially when he brought up Samantha. I was like, to save face for Ricochet, it seemed like that's the way you probably should go. But I also just thought about it, even though I think he beat The Miz, but that's so far in the rearview mirror, I don't even remember. Logan Paul hasn't won any of these. And if it's one guy that you probably can get away with him beating in this scenario, through nefarious tactics, of course, I think he should do something dirty toward the end. Finally cheat the win. Don't let the moment of going viral cost you for the first time. Now, I could be wrong. He don't need the win. He's not like a really an active guy. He can always just pop up again and get thrusted into a spotlight, and I think we'll all just have to deal with it because he usually performs really well. But this time, I think he's going to come out on top. I really thought about this one longer than I really expected when I knew that they were going this way. But I'm going to go with Logan Paul finally pulling one off. I think Ricochet is probably going to take the loss here, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, I think, like you talk about there, Logan has lost too many big matches recently, and it will give him something to gloat about for the next few months as well.
Be more annoying. Yeah. Exactly.
Up next, Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. What worries me is that it said it's MMA rules, which, again, I'm not saying this is not going to be a shoot fight. Like, let's not be silly. But a work shoot fight is awful. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen a work shoot. Like,
that's a great point.
You can't make it. You can't make.
I was hoping they went fight pit, man. They didn't want to do it, but I was hoping they just went on ahead and went fight pit. Matt Riddle style or, Shamrock style.
But again, like you said, maybe if Ronda stayed, then you'd be like, right, okay, they'll do this. But the problem with an MMA fight, I'm thinking it's for time. This is not going to be more than 5 minutes, is it? So
no way. Yeah, it won't be long.
If that's the case, then Baszler's just going to smash her because that's the only story to tell from this at this moment in time.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going to go Baszler.
Yeah, I think Shayna has to win, and I would not mind it if she just shocks the world and beat the crap out of her. Just like Ronda puts her all the way over, and maybe she go for the armbar early, but that's it. The rest of it is just getting whatever it is stomped out. You end up getting choked out in the end. Whatever you need to do to finish it. But I agree with you. It shouldn't go long. So yeah, I'm thinking that's the way to go. Shayna needs this. If they screw this up and Ronda has extended her contract and they decide Ronda needs to win, like, I'll be pissed. I'm serious because this is the best opportunity they've ever had on the main roster, pretty much since she killed everybody in the Elimination Chamber. That's the best opportunity they've had to make her look like a badass. They need to make sure she wins.
Unless the ref bumps and then it's Marina Shafir. Marina Shafir.
Oh my goodness.
Ronda. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Jessamine Duke for some reason.
Yeah, fuck you. Remember the other one. Thank God. I was gone there. I spent my load there. The WWE Women's Championship, Asuka versus Bianca Belair versus Charlotte. Has a woman been a champion even been so away from the forefront of this matchup? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, this is not about Asuka. This is about Belair. I'm in the promo video during during NXT. They said, "Who will be the new women's champion?" Asuka's a champion.
Like, right? Come on, man. Like, oh my God, that's a good point. I didn't even notice that, but yeah, that's a good point. God, I agree, man. From the beginning of this entire thing, I was hoping because I knew they were leading towards triple threat, but I thought, okay, they got time. They're going to eventually actually make Asuka feel like she is or at least holding the prize. That's the thing. It's not even that she's don't feel like she's a part of the story. She doesn't even feel like she's actually holding the prizes they want. Like, that's the only thing is she's there. That's the only way it feels. Like she's there because she's the champion. And it's just like I hate that so much for her in this situation. Even though we know Bianca and Charlotte is the match that they want to make and they can make down the anytime they want. I just think Asuka deserves so much better. And I think, honestly, that since she's been out of sight, out of mind, I'm hoping that that's exactly how this match goes. She kind of gets forgotten or not necessarily forgotten, but she's in it. But like the other two, Charlotte and Bianca, really goes hard against each other, and then Asuka can take advantage and still come out on top as the champion. And maybe you have a cat. I'm assuming Io is gonna do something. She has done everything. Yeah. Like she's tried every single time she's had a chance. It seems like Io has pretty much been involved in this too. And that's another thing. Io has been more involved, or at least felt more important than Asuka in this situation too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we might even get a cash in, but I don't want to go that far to predict that. I think Asuka will win. I'm hoping they do that because honestly, going back to Bianca, she hasn't really even made the character switch completely. I don't think that it's time for that. And please don't do the Charlotte thing. I know she's undefeated at SummerSlam. I get it. I'm one of the people who's always been pretty high on Charlotte. But I am also one of those people who know that just leaving, coming back, insert her in the title picture, she wins again. That can't be the only thing you can do with Charlotte. Like, we have to get more creative with Charlotte. Like, give her a faction, like anything.
How WWE would it be of Charlotte winning the match and then losing to Io cashing in just to have that extra?
It would be
title?
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you can just 15-time champion. Just
whatever, man.
I've gone the same with you, Oscar, but I think Io, I'd say cashes in. Again, might be some shenanigans there as well.
Yeah, something might screw it up, but she's definitely gonna make her presence be felt.
Cody versus Brock Lesnar. I think it's me to go. This is a pretty easy one. So I'm gonna go Cody, and I think we'll move on. There's not really much to add.
Yeah, man. It's only one way to go.
Yeah,
it's only one way to go with this, man. Because if Cody loses this, I mean, what's the point? What's the point of any of this?
Quick question: do you see a lot of rumors going around? Do you see Bray Wyatt showing up and attacking? Because the rumors are Bray Wyatt's coming back, but then again, it's like the last show with Randy Orton's coming back as well now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the only way for Cody maybe to get through to Rumble is for Bray Wyatt to show up, attack him, and then have another 3 or 4 month feud? Is that the right choice, even?
Oh man, honestly, that you really taking a risk, and I'm one of the people who really like Bray, even amongst all the nonsense that he's done and not been able to perform at the greatest and stop and start pushes. I'm a fan, but honestly, I don't think you take that risk, especially with another long-term feud with Bray. We have seen the effects that a Bray Wyatt feud, especially with depending on what type of supernatural character he's going to return with. We've seen the effects that can actually have on people who are really over. Like, I'll never forget what happened to Seth Rollins after that feud. He literally had to change everything about his character. So I don't know. I don't think that's the right choice. I wouldn't mind maybe a little bit of a feud, but I definitely don't want to see 3 or 4 of those matches because I just don't think. Honestly, we know what the first match is going to be like. Cody's going to do everything he can. Bray's going to be pretty much indestructible. He's going to beat him, and then we're going to have to see Cody find a way, or he finds a way to win that one, and then Bray kills him. But again, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've already been here. So it's like I feel like I don't know what they do next. That's the thing with Cody is like how much longer can you keep him away from self or whatever when you have this going on? I don't know, but I just don't think that that's the way to go. They're going to need to. Hello, what happened?
Oh, I think we just got out quickly, but we did get the majority. No, that's Brock Lesnar.
Oh, okay, my fault. Okay, yeah. No, I went Cody Rhodes. Cody's winning, and no Bray Wyatt. That's what I said. Cody's winning, no Bray Wyatt.
So the next one is the penultimate one to pick is the World Heavyweight Championship. It's Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. There's a great statistic, which I can't remember. This is the first WWE Premier Live event to have 2 world titles defended on it since I'm going to go for Elimination Chamber 2002. That's my shot. I may be wrong. No, what were you in? Yeah, no, that might be right. Yeah, no, I'm going to say that because the titles were then unified at WrestleMania. Anyway, this is 7 years of Triple H. Sorry, not Triple H. Of Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. This is what it's all about. I mean, what were your thoughts on this?
Man, this was really tough for me because as a fan of Finn, a fan of Prince Devitt before he came to WWE, I honestly would love for Finn Balor to walk out as world champion, man. It's just, but could I convince myself that that's what WWE wants at this point in time? Because the imagery is there, especially reminding me, I don't want to compare them to Evolution because Evolution was okay on their best day and then annoying as hell all the rest of the time, but it's fine. I understood what Evolution was about. So, yeah, you remember when they were all on top of the world. But the thing is, with that Money in the Bank trophy, do you have Finn do it and then immediately pull the trigger on Priest? I don't want that. I don't want Priest to automatically take advantage of Finn. They need to make that wait. And I don't know if it makes sense for Priest to just hold on to the briefcase while Finn is just walking around with something he can just cash in on. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. And I'm like, how long can you keep teasing it? Yeah. It's like, how long can you keep teasing it and still be friends? So I think Self is probably going to win. That's another thing too. Self, I think he's only like 70 something days as champion too. It's just like, or if that, barely 70. So I just don't know if it's time yet to drop for Self to drop this belt, even if the imagery and how dominant Judgment Day would feel after this would be great for Finn. And I would love Finn to get some revenge here, especially when you think about how he was basically the party you should feel sorry for. But I just don't think that the timing is right. And I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Self. I may be playing it safe, even though throughout the week and throughout this whole entire build, I kind of secretly as a fan was like, go ahead, do it. Give it to Finn because he deserve it. But that ain't necessarily what we get in this business as fans. Like everybody don't get that run because they deserve it, So I'm gonna go with Self.
My thing with it is once we've had it at Money in the Bank, why do it again at SummerSlam? Why
True.
have the match again?
100%.
If it was going to make more sense, you'd have a triple threat match with Priest involved, even though I suppose there's Money in the Bank winner. He doesn't need to be in the match, but that would have been towards a story. And can't you see
I agree.
Priest and we're looking over Balor and then building that story up for the next couple of months, and then having
it can work.
Face,
I know
it
what
can
work.
Saying.
Like I said,
Monty, you are in the lead of 2 of the 3 prediction leagues. All right,
believe in yourself.
I understand, but what I'm saying is I'm going Finn Balor. All right, I'm going Balor in this one.
I'm telling you. The analyst wants you to be wrong. The fan wants you to be right. I'm telling you.
7 years, Balor wins. Like you said, and the imagery of all of them with something in their hands, so to speak, as well. And the question is as well, like we said, with this SummerSlam, is who will have everything in their hands. And the main event, Reigns versus Jey Uso for tribal combat for the undisputed W Universal Champion. This has everything on the line as well, and a story that's had over 3 years build. It's just a shame. Again, I might be wrong, but predictions for this seem a bit obvious for me. No?
Yeah.
But
I'm on the same boat.
But the question is, if Jey was to win, would we? This is the problem. If Jey was to win, would we then accept him as kind of main event Jey Uso? I still don't think he's at that level.
It's gonna be tough. I agree. It's gonna be tough because the thing is, we just been all programmed especially when you're just a prominent tag team guy. Even with the Hardys and all that. I know Jeff definitely did it, and but it was like it's a different thing. Like they're brothers, but they're not twins. You know what I'm saying? They're not as ingrained with each other as the Usos are. And I honestly, this is another thing too. I broke it down really as simple as this to myself. Do I really believe after what they've done for the last 3 years, they're going to let Roman be pinned by Jey Uso 2 premium live events in a row? It's like, will they do that? And that's the part where I'm like, I don't know. Again, it's one of those things. I confidently did it in the tag match because I knew the belt and everything wouldn't be on the line. But I still have not gotten to the point where I'm confident. After what happened to Cody, I don't think I'm confident in saying anybody can just beat Roman in these title matches. And then with no rules, like you still have the Solo stuff to deal with. But let's say Solo is sidelined or that don't even happen. Then I'm like, they kind of the way Roman talking, he's planting seeds for Jimmy to kind of be jealous of Jay. And I'm like, don't tell me Jimmy's gonna come back and attack his brother. And I hope that's not gonna happen. I hope they stay together and they're fine. But you never really know, honestly. You just never know the twist and turn that this storyline has taken. And I don't necessarily want that to be it, but it's just really tough, man. Like you said, I can't definitively say that it'll work out for Jay because I feel like if Jay wins, guess what? I don't think he's gonna have it long. I think he'll lose it, right back. Honestly, it'll be one of those things, or kind of like what happened to Kofi. As much as I love Kofi, we all know he did not get his due when he got over that mountain, and that's because at the end of the day, when you have a stigma as a guy, he always have that achievement, but the run wasn't that special or that memorable in the end because the company didn't necessarily ever feel like he was that guy. And if you're gonna take the belt off Roman Reigns after everything he's done, I feel like you gotta have everybody, the entire world and the machine behind you pretty much at this point. And I just don't know if Jay is quite there, but it would be a nice story. Like as a fan again, beautiful. I love it. It'd be perfect. Right where we kind of started off after Jay took all this abuse, it'll be perfect as a fan. But again, WWE don't necessarily do the thing that would make you just happy as a fan. You know what I'm saying?
There's more
and that's why I was like, no, I'm going Roman.
There's more chance, like you said, of Jimmy coming out and super kicking Jay, and then
exactly and breaking our hearts, right?
New bloodline, the new bloodline T-shirts on sale. Like fucking hell. Again, like you said, as they were talking about in press conferences months ago, they're only in early innings, so to speak. So if there is bigger stories to tell, but again, I love the fact, like I said, Jay's getting an opportunity here. Mm-hmm. Will we see of a Randy Orton or even could Bray Wyatt to be involved here? So the thing about SummerSlam last year, we had big return, with Bayley coming back. I mean, that was Damage Control a year ago now, man. Like, where does that year go? Ooh. I don't know. But so we should be expecting something like this at SummerSlam. And again, but we're in a good place at the moment. We talked about NXT. With WWE, it's positive. Like we said, we're going to go probably into the women's stuff more once Gina here. And not just because, they're women, because we've been doing this for like 2:15. And if we start talking about that, we'll probably be here till about 3. So
let's not do that.
And SmackDown literally starts in like half hour. So we want to...
Right, yeah.
I'm dedicated to you. It's 12:30. I need sleep. So
yes, bless you, man. Thank you. I don't know how you're still going at this rate.
Oh, mate, you know what I'm saying? But this is the thing. Because of SummerSlam, because of NXT Great American Bash, great wrestling gets
good content. Through. If this was 2.0, this show would have been an hour.
Oh, Christ. Listen to the podcast. Listen to the podcast back in 2018. Fucking hell. There's a difference from then to now, But I think that is it. We've basically covered everything. Don't forget, of course, all social media, Twitter at the WNR Podcast. I'm at the WNR. Find the entire WNR team on the Twitter banner. Monty, where can people find and listen to you because you've been delving deep into the G1?
Yes, I've been somehow finding a way. I've kept up the entire way. I'm all the way through night 12. I got reviews. My latest review is nights 10 through 12. I'm breaking down all the action match by match. It's literally my pinned tweet. So like you said, go to the Twitter banner of the WNR or go to @MindMontyPod. You can click my pinned tweet. You can click the link in my bio and go to my link tree and go to Apple or go to Spotify. However you listen to podcasts, listen to my latest podcast. You'll be caught completely up on the G1 because we have an important weekend coming up as all the blocks A, B, C, and D are finalizing over the next 4 shows, and then going into next week, I think next weekend pretty much we will have the finals wrapping everything up. It's been a long road. It's been a lot of early mornings for me. late nights editing, but it's been it's revitalized the way I feel about just sitting around watching pro wrestling, as the G1 seems to always do. I think it just picks me up throughout the middle of the year and gets me ready for the second half of all the rest of the wrestling that I have to tackle for the rest of the year. So it's a fantastic stuff, and it's been fantastic. And I've broken it all down. I've been completely honest, even about the stuff that's been shit, because it's been some shit in the G1. Everything hasn't been great.
Yeah,
so
evil.
Please give it a listen.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
yes.
Yeah,
Yano too. Oh my God, Yano.
Hey, no, do you know what though? Yano, like, I don't want to go off on piece here, but I'm up to night 6 now, so I'm slowly catching up. But I've never laughed so hard at Toriano and Zack Sabre Jr. Like those two guys.
Oh yeah.
What? That is something, you know.
And oh my goodness, Shane Hayes makes me wonder why the hell he was ever slapjack every time he talks.
Jesus Christ!
Damn, I love Shane.
I tell you that it's Hinare as well is the guy. Like,
oh yeah, oh my
so
goodness,
many standout moments. But yeah, so definitely listen to Monty doing that, and we'll cover the G1 as well. Hopefully at the end of August. But at WNR also on Facebook and Instagram, across all Google platforms. WNR Podcast at gmail.com. Podcast will be latest clips. Podcast got at the same time on YouTube. We do SoundCloud on your phone, also Spotify and iTunes. We can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. So yes, our next episode will be next weekend. The entire team is here. Monty will be rubbing it in our faces, I suppose, about his prediction wins as we look at SummerSlam 2023. But till then, I've been James Reynolds, was joined by the mind of Monty. We've got a little bit longer, but I think it's been worthwhile today.
Oh yes. Longer, but still just as much fun as the short NXT podcast. Like you said, we have great stuff to talk about. It makes these conversations flow really well. Always a good time, man.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Well, thank you, and thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.